1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Now, Lauren Brooks, Taylor Dahl, and Tom McManus. This is
Helmets and Heels.
Helmets and Heels on 1010XL.
Round one is in the books, and from our vantage point now, I don't really get the sense that the Jaguars were all that interested in moving up last night for what it was going to take from 56 into the first round of the NFL draft.
Yeah, I don't think I think you call and you talk, and I heard Frank saying that in the afternoon, is that's what these guys do on draft day, is you call and say, hey, how much would it take to get up to this point? What it seems like, too, is there was a couple trades early, but the most part, once the Bears selected, then it was like 4 in a row, trade. So it kind of seemed like it wasn't, they kept telling us there's going to be all of these trades, but I do feel like maybe certain people did have this. I mean, we saw 9 offensive linemen go, so clearly this draft, a lot of the teams that were drafting in the first round were like, hey, let's just get a tackle or guard that we feel like can immediately come in here and play and help protect our quarterback a little bit. Several wide receivers in that. And then you started to see towards the end where it was like, that's when it started getting, okay, well, we're into that mid-20s now, and you maybe that the guys that we liked, there's still 4 or 5 of them available, so we can move back to the end of the second. And so we always said it more so it mattered how the board fell, and I don't know who it would have been for. There was obviously the price rumor, but I don't know how accurate that was because, I mean, I feel like you had that opportunity if that's what you were really talking about, but it does feel like Seattle, I think that was their guy. Caleb Banks is one that I'm like, maybe that's somebody, I don't know, but he went a little, there was the discussions of if he was going to go in the first or second round, and I kept hearing people saying there's no way he's going to slip out of the second round. He's just too good when he's healthy, and so you take that risk if you're one of the teams that need that position. And so there were a few things that made it feel like, okay, maybe people started to settle in for a while, and then the panic at the end, not panic and we need to get up and get our guy, but panic of the opposite, like let's try and get back out of this because there's 5 guys right now that we all think are kind of in the on this level, and we can add some picks to it. The Bills did it multiple times.
Yeah, look, I'm glad they didn't grab Price, and that's nothing against Price. Obviously, there we go. I'm glad they didn't grab Price, and there's nothing against him. I just thought that would be high if he went to Seattle's 32. I'm wondering if Peter Woods wasn't taken by KC, would he have been a candidate? They had to have been looking up there, but whatever. They're back at 56, or they stay at 56. I'm not going to be surprised if they move up a little bit if their guy falls. And I don't mean like 20 or like top of the round, but maybe within 10 if your guy's there or 2 guys are there or something like that. Because that's what you got, those picks for. Like then you can throw in a couple, 5th or 6th or whatever and move up a little bit or whatever. It would take a third to go with it. But, yeah, I think you could see some of that. But once he left, I don't think there was anybody they were going to really go after, to put up all that capital. Which is interesting, by the way, because, Silver, who's supposed to be he was talking about them using draft capital to go up, and I'm sure they explored it. Now, how deep, I wouldn't say either, but I'm sure they at least looked into it. I think every team probably looks into it a little bit, It
wouldn't have surprised me if they were talking about that to get a certain defensive tackle, to your point.
Yeah.
But running back was the one that I was just a little stuck on. Like, you're going to give up that much draft capital for that position group? That's just very interesting.
Yeah,
but I'm with you. The way the board fell, I think the only way the Jaguars were definitely moving up is, to me, if there was an offensive lineman that they could not live without in the first round. And I just don't think that's where they are. And so now there are a ton of defensive tackle prospects available. So to me, that's what I'm expecting tonight. The Jaguars move up a few slots and they take a defensive tackle.
7 offensive tackles went in the first
2
round.
guards.
And 2 guards.
2 guards. 9 offensive linemen.
How about that?
I mean, if you want to talk about the trenches being really important.
Yeah. But there could be some guards to be had in the second and third round for our Jags. At least one, maybe.
Yeah, there's some guards, I think.
Absolutely.
And that's what it is.
Emmanuel Pregnon, that we weren't sure exactly where he'd go.
The kid from Iowa, we're going to get him a big spread out on the west side.
Give me that mullet man.
I didn't think he was going to the first round.
Yeah, me either. I always thought, most people had him projected early to mid-second. But I think that, to your point, Lauren, when you're talking about the offensive linemen, 9 of them going in the first round, and what we saw this offseason too, with Linderbaum getting the money he did, we've seen the last couple seasons people overspending, and I'm putting that in quotations because I do think they've also realized how important it is. when it comes to some of these teams that even with the best quarterbacks during the media mock draft, the Ravens guy came on and he was like, we've got to protect Lamar Jackson.
Yep.
And that's talking about one of the most mobile quarterbacks that can escape and extend plays. And they are still talking about how important it is to have somebody in front of you that can block for the quarterback. So he doesn't have to do that all the time. And so I do think that we lived in this world for so long where it was like left tackle. Yes. Like you have to have a really good left tackle, but the rest of the line wasn't talked about as much. And that started to shift a little bit. 2 guards going in the first round. We're seeing right tackles get paid really high.
Mm-hmm.
It's growing and growing when it comes to the importance of this.
Well, think about it. Like great point. Like with the guards, like you never took a guard in the first round.
Like
never in the top 10.
That.
Like never. Like would it never even think of it? Like, no, wait, it's a guard. You can find a guard anywhere.
And I feel like it used to not be as specific. Like it used to be offensive linemen. That's what you'd see as far as the graphics and when the people that are on the studio set talking, the actual analysts. I was going to say mock draft analysts, but they're actual draft analysts. I've just said mock draft so many times. But like they would always just say offensive lineman. Now they specifically say tackle or guard. And I think that's really good too. Same with defensive lineman.
Yeah, and but the left tackle's always been on its own
tackle,
island for a long time. Like everyone knew what a left tackle was. But other than that, no doubt about it. And then with the tag, they made the right tackle just as valuable as the left. So I was like, well, you pay them the same, right? That's you're telling us that they're valued
they're
the
just
same.
as valued.
Leon's like finally, especially because he was the quarterback for the quarterback.
Absolutely.
He was the guy blocking the blind side.
Well, and that's what I mean. Go back to the Penei Sewell. How much of a hard time the world of the NFL gave the Lions for spending that high of a pick on a right tackle. Granted, I think this year he's going to move to left tackle. So you have a guy that's versatile, and that's what you don't probably talk about enough. Now we do, but for a period of time there wasn't. But that I think sparked a lot of things. The tackles getting paid the same, and then somebody saying, "No, do you have edge rushers coming off speedy and fast on both sides? Now you've got to block your quarterback on both sides."
Well, think about this too. What we know why the tackles are important, but think about why those guards are important. Think of all the great 3 techniques they have to block out there in the National Football League.
And the athletic ones now.
Athletic and big and strong. So you better hit on your guards. You're gonna have a tough time with some of these
Jeffrey
guys.
Of is coming at you.
Yeah, Chris Jones, all those mean guys.
Good luck. By the way, speaking of the media mock drafts, of course the first overall pick was correct by the media mock draft with Mendoza to the Raiders. The next one that was correct was the Ravens. Yeah. With the guard that they selected. Cool. And the final one was the very last one, the Seahawks with Jadarian Price. Those were the only 3 that the media mock draft got correct. But that's not surprising because we saw all those trades. Yeah. I went back and looked to see how many positions they got correct in addition to those 3 actual players. Yep. And they got, in addition to those 3, 5 position groups correct. Okay. So the Jets, they did pick an edge. That's what they predicted, just the different one. The Bucks picked an edge, different actual player.
He looks so mean.
He does look mean.
Payne was like so mad he didn't want to talk to nobody.
I understand why.
All his opponents are like, oh my gosh, I'm scared to death.
The Lions picked an offensive tackle in the media mock draft. They also went offensive tackle, just a different one. The Steelers offensive tackle and the Chargers edge. Like I said, just different players than what actually ended up being there. But at least normally it gives you, I think, a pretty good sense of what's going to happen. We knew that last night. We had no idea what was going to happen.
Yeah. And that's why I said also it's hard. The media mock draft is cool because you get a sense of what the needs are for that specific team. But with not trading, it's impossible. Without having trades, it's impossible to really predict because there's always going to be trades. And I think that when we come, obviously, the Ty Simpson conversation and some of those ones that you see start to affect a lot of different things as the board goes on. Steelers fans are not happy, by the way.
I was just going to say that. In their hometown.
No, they didn't say the guy's name right, by the way. Yeah. And then, it was just, awkward silence. One of my friends, Jarrett Bailey, who's been on our station, I don't think we've had him on our show, but I've heard him on Hacker. He covers the Pittsburgh Steelers as a fan. And he goes, being a Steelers fan should entitle me to financial compensation. And I was like, you don't like Max? And he goes, you had Mekhi Lemon on the phone and didn't think to move up for him when they have 12 picks, 3rd offensive tackle in 4 years in the first round. Just a massive letdown. That's what other teams are dealing with right now. So,
and we've talked about the Steelers drafting well for many years, right?
Yeah.
They typically, that's one of the things that they did well, but yeah, that was an interesting thing to be, especially from his perspective too, Mekhi Lemons.
And it was in the division with Dallas and Philly. doing the trade.
Yeah.
And then Miami and Buffalo did it too. Like, that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I don't think the Jags and Titans would, or
Ever
Jags
trade.
and Texans
or the
would.
Texans, yeah.
I don't think that would ever happen. But yeah.
Not to help them out, I don't think.
No.
Oh, you want your player? Nah. Can't have him.
I do love, though, the natural reaction that we get of those guys walking down the hallway. And I feel like I'd be nervous that I'd hit the wrong team because you're just so overwhelmed with emotion.
Yeah.
And what if Mekhi Lemon was like, wait, was it Steelers or Eagles? Who just drafted? Hold on. Wait a second. But I like the raw emotion that we got to see. There was one player that was like just hysterically
Tyson.
crying.
It was Jordan Tyson.
Jordan Tyson, thank you.
Yeah.
Who had suffered all those injuries that we discussed. And was just overcome to the point where we could see his snot. And I was like, okay, guys, like maybe
back the camera
out just a little bit. Or give him a moment there. But
that one made me tear up a little bit. Those ones, those raw, natural, where you're like, you can just tell how thankful they are in that moment. And also everything they've probably put in to get into that moment. And all of these guys have. But some of them in that moment when you've battled injury after injury and people are like, where's he going to go? Because are you going to trust these injuries? And you've seen other guys fall because of that. So, yeah, it was a really cool moment to see that one.
Yeah, and it's been, since, their last game, it's been a lot of poking and prodding and hoping and wishing and talking and
reading things about yourself, right?
Yeah.
Like, know that they are up to date with the things that analysts are saying. I guarantee if I had a scout have a profile on me, I would 1000% go read Lance Zierlein's profile to see what my strengths are, what my weaknesses are, how accurate I think he is, how inaccurate, right? Like, I would absolutely have gone and read all of those things about myself.
Yeah. I don't know if you would. You don't like to read our stuff when people, I don't know if you would want to know.
I would.
I think you'd be one of the people that like, no.
Well, because I want to know, like, how close is this to where I'm going to be picked, right? Like, like Carson Beck, for instance. Like, I would want to know what they're saying so that I have at least an idea of where I think I'm going to go. Am I going to go ahead of Garrett Nussmeier or behind Garrett Nussmeier? Things like that.
Well, that's going to be interesting. With Ty Simpson going higher than most people even imagine, that moves people up, for the next.
That quarterback.
Who is it? Is it Beck? Is it? I don't think it's Aller, but he's close behind those guys. And Nussmeier,
Yeah, we've seen Aller and Beck and some mocks go very close to each other. Some Aller right before Beck, some Beck right before Aller. So that one will be interesting.
Yeah. How do you guys feel about Carson Beck in the NFL?
I think he'll be potentially one of the better quarterbacks of this draft. That's not saying a ton, obviously, for the other quarterbacks in this draft. But if I was a Rams fan, I would rather have Carson Beck than Ty Simpson because he has way more experience. He has seen far more. He's been in bigger games and he's seen far more elite competition, whereas Ty Simpson started 15 games. And obviously, Anthony Richardson had started 13 games.
Even though you don't need him right away and you're not going to use him right away? He can learn?
My gut is Stafford maybe only plays one more year. Just because of what we've seen with the back injury and the timing of everything. And and
McVay's response.
But yeah, Sean McVay clearly wasn't happy. We'll get to that in a little bit. But that would be, that's how I would feel as a Rams fan. And I wouldn't want my coach to basically say like, well, this is Stafford's team.
Yeah.
Like we don't need him. Well, then that's an issue with the selection. But I was one of the few people last year that I didn't hate the Michael Penix pick. I didn't like that they made it after they gave Kirk Cousins all that money.
Right.
But if you believe he's the long-term answer at quarterback, then you take him, what did they take him, 8th overall?
Yeah.
You take him that high. If the Rams believe that this is the successor to Stafford, I understand he's not going to play this season, and that's how obviously they hope he doesn't play this season, and he's not going to contribute this year. But if he's the long-term answer at quarterback, then you made the right move at pick 13.
Yeah.
But you could have probably gotten him later, so why not get a difference maker at 13? And then if you feel like you need to get him maybe even later in the first round, you could still do that.
Yeah, and that's where I think a lot of people are with it, is just more so they don't think they had to take him that high. There's still more opportunity where you could have. Number one, number two, it was. I don't know. I just think it's interesting. You talk about the lack of experience. If I was a Rams fan, I wouldn't want any of these quarterbacks left to be what we're hoping is the successor to my Matthew Stafford. I would have been like, get some playmakers. We're in our window right now to win. And that's where the Rams have lived for so long, of just like, we're here to win right now. Who cares about what happens next? And you're talking about a draft next year that's supposed to be one of the best we've seen in a long time, including with some of these quarterbacks. So I would be not very happy if I was a Rams fan personally. But I mean, you do have to have some plan at some point.
I think it's strange that McVay and the quarterback never spoke. The This was a Les Snead move.
Yeah.
That's what's weird about it. Like, it feels like
we praised him so much for a lot of things.
There's a crack in the army. You thought it was McVay running the show, and it feels like Les Snead kind of pulled like a power move. Like, no, we're taking the QB.
Yeah.
You know, because if you think about it, look how close they were to they would have beaten New England in the Super Bowl.
Absolutely.
The Rams would have.
For sure.
Right? Just like Seattle.
I think the Jags
even with no secondary, they would have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's how close they were. You know what I mean? And Super Bowls are everything. Granted, if he's going to be your, heir apparent to Matt Stafford and he turns out to be a heck of a player, then it's a great pick. The question is, do you have enough, which they probably do, to win now? They were close last year. You'd think, they
made the trade for Trent McDuffie.
They even got better on defense.
So in their minds, they're thinking, I know y'all are so focused on the first round of the draft, but we were already spending this offseason making other moves.
Yeah.
It's just, you could have had a player that in 2026.
Another receiver that just takes that offense to a whole.
You could have had a really good safety. They could have taken Dylan Thieneman.
No.
Yeah, right. And his back, like, what if that comes back? And then Jimmy G turned him down, or they were trying to get him to sign.
Retirement.
Yeah,
that was the latest.
Yeah,
but again, it's just, if I'm the Rams, I may have taken a quarterback, but later in the draft.
Yeah.
And still been able to have potentially the next.
But is the later in the draft QB the heir apparent, where it appears Ty Simpson would be the heir apparent?
But you could have gotten Ty Simpson most likely later. Not necessarily the third round, but.
Oh, but in the first round.
Maybe later in the first round or early in the second round. That's at least, obviously, that's not how they feel. That's how the rest of us feel. But we'll keep it on the draft. Tons to do on this Friday, this football Friday. You are listening to Helmets and Heels on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Streaming live from the XL Digital Studios. Polished by Harbor Dental Care, the locally owned smile restoration experts. Come join the fun.
I like to vary the details a bit, but the punchline is
1010XL.
David Lane here, and once again, I'm happy to share news of my successful back and knee surgeries at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. Whatever it is that's bothering you, take it from me. Simply set an appointment today at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists and let them help you get back to normal life. I'm certainly glad I did.
Relieve pain and get back to life. SOS. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Hey, Tom McManus here for Armstrong Fence Company, a locally owned and operated business on the First Coast for nearly 20 years. Known for reliability, quality craftsmanship, and professional service, Armstrong Fence, they handle it all. From big projects like stadiums and schools to your very own backyard. Basically, they build a wicked strong fence, and they do it right every single time. When you're looking for a fence, trust the Armstrong Fence Company. Yeah, we did the fence.
It's a Helmets and Heels
Bowden Iron Associates.
Friday.
Divorce, menonly.com. This is Kenny Lay of Kenny Lay and Associates. Our firm specializes in representing men in family law. That's all we do. That's our only focus. We can help with all of your family law needs, such as divorce, custody, alimony, and child support. For over a decade, we have helped thousands of men with these types of issues. We even have an appellate division ready to challenge a judge's ruling. If you need a family law attorney, go to divorcemenonly.com. Divorcemenonly.com. Offices, Jacksonville.
Strong in the classroom, gifted on the field.
1010XL and Southeast Orthopedic Specialists celebrate scholar athletes. Wednesday afternoons on The Frangie Show. Activated by
The Plumbers and Pipe Fitters Local Union 234.
Imagine this, you and your buddies outside enjoying the warm weather. The grill is fired up, steaks are sizzling, drinks in hand, and you're all hanging out around your brand new outdoor kitchen. CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living can make it happen. From custom outdoor kitchens to fireplaces, fire pits, and more. They bring your backyard dreams to life. You dream it, they build it. Visit CSSFireplaces.com and make your backyard the place everyone wants to be this season.
What if your next fun day out costs just $70 to play all day? That's exactly what you get at the Battalion Airsoft Arena, the only indoor airsoft battlefield in Jax. Skip the same old boring entertainment choices and step into real action with your crew. Perfect for birthdays, company team building, graduation parties, or just epic weekend fun. No experience? No problem. The Battalion package includes everything: gun, mask, and ammo with unlimited play. So lock in your mission now at BattalionAirsoftArena.com.
Jacksonville, you're on the clock. When your oil change is due, don't waste your pick sitting at a dealership. At Valvoline Instant Oil Change, there's no appointment needed. Just pull in, stay in your car, and in 15 minutes, you're done. That's a smart pick. With convenient locations, a 4.7-star national rating, and named #1 quick lube for customer service by Forbes, Valvoline is the easy choice. Make the right call. Visit the newest Valvoline Instant Oil Change at Beach Boulevard and St. John's Bluff.
In this age of globalization, we've learned that bigger isn't always better. Ever tried to get phone help from a big corporation? From a real person? Good luck. That is what's so nice about Mike Merritt's Heating and Air. Unlike publicly traded conglomerates with headquarters in faraway cities, Mike Merritt's Heating and Air remains family-owned and operated by Mike, your neighbor. Mike Merritt has delivered hometown service, integrity, and pricing for generations. The big guys incentivize their techs to sell you new equipment. Mike's team emphasizes repair first. We only sell you equipment if your current equipment is worn out and beyond repair. And let's be honest about price. Small operations without much overhead can sometimes lowball your job, but you can't trust just anyone with a truck. They may be here today and gone tomorrow. Mike Merritt has been keeping North Florida cool for more than 3 decades. That's experience and dedication you can count on. Call today or see us on the web.
Florida license number CAC 050384.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
Tom McManus, Aaron Williams filling in for RJ Saunders, who will be working later this evening. I'm Lauren Brooks with you. We're going to talk a ton of draft today, so hit us up on the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures. Tell us who y'all want. It's simple. Who do you want the Jaguars to take, whether it's at 56 or around 56? Just give us the names of the person that you want, the player that you desire. I think we all have a lot of names that we would be fine with the Jaguars taking, which I think goes to show you that they have a lot of options as well on their draft board.
Yeah.
They are not locked into, I think, just one position group. We've talked a ton about certain position groups more than others, of course, but I think they've got a lot of ways that they can go, which is great. All right, so we're talking about Ty Simpson and the Rams selecting him at 13. Aaron's a resident Rams fan. So, Aaron, your thoughts when that happened? And we knew, by the way, going in yesterday, Jay Glazer was one of the people saying, like, there's going to be a blockbuster of some sort of move happening in the first round. Just be ready for it. I would imagine that this was the one he was referring to.
Yeah, a bit of shock and a bit confusion at first because the general consensus is that the Rams were going to go all in this season to get a Super Bowl. This may be Stafford's last year. There were like a bit of rumblings that they may be an extension. I don't know how true that was, but that they were going to go all in this year. Well, getting Ty Simpson right now does not help you in the fact of going all in this year. You know, getting someone like Mekhi Lemon or someone like that will help you. But I am one of the few that really like Ty Simpson. I was really high on him from the very beginning, even watching him at Alabama. A bit shorter. I didn't realize how short he was. Kind of like Drew Brees' stature. He's like 6'1.5" or something like that. So a bit shorter than the other quarterbacks, but you know, he's mobile, something that the Rams haven't had in a quite long time. A good drive on the ball, good spiral. I like the quarterback. We'll just see. And to me, them picking it this year is that they're comfortable with what they have on offense right now, and that, you know, we'll see how things go this year and planning for the future ahead.
So not furious, just a little bit like, that's a head-scratching move based off of what you've told us.
Yeah. Just like I said, initially shy. Like I was here with Hacker when he saw it, and you know, if the camera was on me, my jaw dropped to the floor. He's like, Aaron, you all right? I was like, yeah, we got to go to break. What are we doing? But yeah, no, just a bit confusion at first, but overall, I like it. I like it.
You also trust in Les Snead and or Sean McVay, which is a huge part of it, I'm guessing.
I think Sean McVay is the most brilliant offensive mind that we have in the NFL right now. Yeah. So there's and he's been really high on Simpson from the beginning. So there's something that they're seeing him with the lack of experience, with the only 15 starts. There's something in him that he sees that he doesn't see in the guys that you were talking about earlier, Carson Beck, the Allard, things like that.
Yeah.
So
McVay didn't seem very happy though that they went that route.
Which is also the other.
I saw him on the phone too. He was kind of like, you know. Yeah. And he didn't seem like he was that happy. Well, even on the press conference.
Yeah, and reports before the not reports. The interviews before that is like he's talked really high on Simpson before. I think also with Kay Adams as well. I had him on the show. So I mean, like I said, it confusing at first, but I do like the guy overall, the player overall that we got.
They said during the draft broadcast, and they said this felt like a free pick for the Rams because obviously the Rams got this for the McDuffie trade. And so maybe maybe in their head, they're like, we're not usually picking in the first round anyways. So it kind of just feels like here's something extra for you that you can go get a quarterback and that hopefully McVay can develop into something else. What's interesting is the last time you drafted one in Jared Goff, you sent him away, and then you went and got a veteran guy that already kind of knew things. So that's kind of some of the things that I've heard when it comes to McVay. Is he that true from the start developer into this big piece? Because you had Jared Goff, who's now really good with the Detroit Lions, and you couldn't make that work. But then when you got a guy that's been in the league 10 years already that knows kind of how to run systems and has been played a lot, then you could make him a Super Bowl champion. So I love Sean McVay, so I'm not trying to...
I want a 10-year-old.
Yeah.
At least he doesn't have to be thrown into the fire.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's big because I do think you mentioned Anthony Richardson being one of the guys that's played less games. Mitchell Trubisky's the other guy. He only played, I think, 12 games in college, and then the Bears traded up to draft him. And both of those guys were expected to start right away on their new teams. And it was also coming to teams that were a bit of disasters, too, and rebuilding and trying to figure things out. And obviously, the Rams are in a way different situation than that. So it is beneficial for him in that sense.
Yeah. Only time will tell when it comes to these types of picks, whether it's the Falcons and Michael Penix or now the Rams with Ty Simpson. And again, it does depend on how long Stafford plays. If he plays another 3 years, let's say, and Simpson doesn't play much outside of like the preseason or when the Rams are up by a ton in critical situations, then is that the right methodology? Is that not enough playing time for him because he hasn't played that much in college? But look, I think Sean McVay is a genius offensively. We know that, right? And so that's the nice part. Like as Jags fans, we also trust in, at least as of now, James Gladstone and Liam Cohen, and we trust Liam Cohen's offense. So if they make a pick earlier, an offensive pick earlier than what we expect, we're just going to go, okay, well, we trust that that's a guy that Liam Cohen really needs.
Well, I think 3 years is probably a stretch for Stafford, but 2 is probably, closer.
Yeah, I throw that out because Brady played into his 40s, and Stafford's only, 37, 38?
Yeah, he was pretty clean health-wise, other than the knee. So maybe the back becomes a problem. Who knows? He's coming off an MVP season, so you're going to get him at least a year, maybe 2. And then maybe they're thinking, look, we don't really like anybody outside of Ty this class. We don't like really anybody next year to be the heir apparent. And I don't know next year's class, but maybe that's the way they're thinking. Let's grab this kid now. He doesn't have to start. It is kind of a luxury pick. We've got more picks. We've been good at picks in the mid rounds in the past. So let's just rely on that. And we like him. So let's let him sit. Let's let him learn. Maybe we make him into something. Worst case scenario, he doesn't fit here. It's okay. We got this pick from a trade. You know what I mean? It's just maybe I don't know, you write it off as a loss or something like that. But they felt it was worth it. It did shock some people, a lot of people, that he went that high. But he was going to be the second QB taken. I don't think there was anybody vying for that second spot. So.
And Dan Orlovsky gets to at least pat himself on the back. Now, again, he thought Simpson was better than Mendoza. We'll see.
Yeah.
I would say we'll see next year, but we won't see next year. We'll see about Mendoza. We won't see about Ty Simpson. All right. So Sean McVay, as Aaron referred to, was on the Kay Adams show at the owners' meetings in Phoenix a few weeks ago, and he discussed one Ty Simpson.
How much Ty Simpson are you watching?
Well, we watch all of our guys.
I love him.
I like him a lot too.
What do you like about him, like from a Sean McVay?
Well, I would say this. I probably haven't done as much work on him as you have, but I like the way he handles himself. I like the way that you can evaluate a lot of the different things that he's able to do that maybe translate. I'm familiar with what Ryan Grubb did just from him running that offense in Seattle the year before. I think Mendoza was a fun watch too, but there's a lot of other guys that I like at that 13th pick. And, whether it's quarterbacks, whether it's guys on offense or defense, Les and his group, and I've been able to spend a bunch of time with them and the coaches. We're excited. We're going to get a good player at 13. I know that much.
There's a lot of other guys I would like at 13. So that's
not a glowing endorsement. It's not a bad one.
Yeah.
He
does say good things about him.
He said good things about him, but it wasn't
so
like,
maybe the reaction was more that, like, why at that 13th pick when you could have got a Mekhi Lemon and your offense is even more explosive than it already is, and you can get him to your, like, maybe in the end of the, the beginning of the second or whatever the case may be. So maybe that was more of the reaction, like, feel like it's a little high for him there, but I like the person and the player.
Yeah.
I just thought it was funny when he's like, but you've probably done more homework on him than I have. Like, is Kay out here like
film
about to start
Which means he hasn't done any.
Right. That's why I thought that was hilarious.
Somebody on the on the text line brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures made me laugh. One said, it worked for Snead last time. He's friends with James Gladstone's dad, too.
That's very true.
So that one made me laugh. And then somebody else, the Rams, they were mentioning him being good friends with Ty Simpson's dad. So back to back with those. But then Billy, who's always chiming in on the text line, was like, Goff got them Stafford and a Super Bowl. So you drafted Goff and then it ultimately got you a Super Bowl because you used him in trade.
Yep.
Yeah. I know that Super Bowl, by the way, was one of the worst Super Bowls of all time.
Yeah, it was terrible.
When the Rams lost 13-3.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. To the Patriots.
Yep.
All right. One more from Sean McVay. This was after Ty Simpson was drafted when he was discussing that pick with the media.
Yeah, I did. I'll keep that between us. We'll see. He's going to compete with Stetson.
What a bit about this pick.
That's the most damning part to me is that
He's
he'll
going to compete with Stetson.
And not that Stetson Bennett had a great college career, obviously. Two national championships at Georgia, and he's a guy from kind of around here, so always followed him closely, right? And he was a walk-on, and then he left, and then he went back to Georgia. Like, it's a great story. But he obviously has had some issues since he's come into the league off the field.
Yeah.
And so say your quarterback that you drafted 13th overall is going to compete with Stetson, who you took in, the 5th round?
Yeah.
That's an interesting comment.
Way to word that.
He's making him earn it, that's all. Because it is Matthew. He said it's Matthew's team, too. He's like,
absolutely. Which I am glad that they did let Stafford know in advance.
Yeah.
Les Snead called Matt Stafford. I don't know if Les Snead called Sean McVay and told him what was about to happen.
Sean was shocked.
Goff gets to the Super Bowl, you ship him out. He becomes MVP. He's probably like, man, are they going to ship me out, too? I just had an MVP year.
Unlike what the Falcons did to Kirk Cousins. They did not let him know. He found out live with the rest of us.
But, all that guaranteed money for
He's
Kirk.
good.
Yeah, no doubt.
But I think that was obviously the biggest surprise of round one. But we will continue discussing the draft when we return. You are listening to Helmets and Heels on 1010 XL and 92.5 FM.
Bowden Iron Associates, Helmets and Heels Friday.
When it comes to glass, you don't want average. You want flawless. Duval Glass and Mirror has transformed homes and businesses across Jacksonville for over 35 years. Frameless showers that wow. Mirrors cut exactly to your style. Fogged or broken glass replaced. Decorative tabletops. Windows replaced or repaired to stand up to Florida storms. All backed by a 100% guarantee. Visit DuvalGlass.com for your free quote. There's only one name for glass and mirror around these parts. It's Duval.
Hey, Jacksonville, I'm sure by now you've seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We are an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We are committed to customer service, reliability, and have unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. GFL, green for life.
On the First Coast, we have the backs of those who protect our community. That includes our K-9 officers out there every day with JSO and police across our area, tracking suspects, finding missing adults and children, putting their lives on the line. K-9s United make sure these four-legged heroes get the gear and training they need to come home safe. Join the 9K for K-9s. Every step supports local police K-9 units. Sign up now at K9sunited.org, because in the Bold City, we take care of our own.
Leon Serza here, your lemon pepper guy. You know Wingstop always delivers. And I'm not talking about their cook-to-order, hand-sauced and tossed chicken sandwich in your choice of 12 mouth-watering flavors. I'm not talking about the house-made ranch. So good, nobody will blame you if you double dip. I'm talking about Wingstop that delivers straight to your door. And did you know they're open until 1 a.m.? So visit wingstop.com or use the app to get flavors delivered right to your door late night only at Wingstop.
Can't stop. Wingstop.
Did you know there's local savings sitting in your mailbox right now? Money Pages is packed with real coupons from your favorite local businesses. Save money at restaurants like Al's Pizza, on pet care at Forever Vets, and on entertainment for the whole family at the Alhambra Theater. Plus, make sure to download the Money Pages app for savings on the go.
Pages in your mailbox right now.
Attention skilled electricians, are you undervalued at your current company? Time to step up to the bigger projects and better opportunities. Join the team at Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering not just the job, but an experience, top-notch pay, unbeatable benefits, and the best working environments in the business. Please join the team that values your skills and rewards your hard work. Elevate your career to new heights. Apply today at millercareers.com, an equal opportunity employer.
Did you know Beard's Diamonds now has luxury pre-owned Rolex watches? Pick it here. If you always wanted a Rolex but haven't been able to find one or didn't want to jump through all the hoops with an authorized dealer, you need to check out these pristine Rolex models now available at Beard's immaculate timepieces at fair market prices. Also, if you're engagement ring shopping this spring, remember, Beard's can and will beat anyone else's price on diamonds. Those big box Wall Street-owned chain stores, they can't touch Beard's pricing. That includes both natural and lab-grown diamonds. You can find the ring of her dreams at Beard's and pay less. Beard's has no commission salespeople. They don't have to report to Wall Street. Beard's is Jacksonville's diamond powerhouse, locally owned by the Lupos. Say hi to them when you go in there. They're there for us. And listen, Mother's Day's coming soon. Get into Beard's and check out the most amazing, affordable, and timeless gifts for that special mom in your life. Shop local. Shop Beard's Diamonds in the St. John's Town Center.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's team time, Farah doesn't flinch.
Taylor Dahl, Tom McManus, Aaron Williams here with us. I'm Lauren Brooks with you. RJ Saunders will be working later this evening. By the way, the new Ella Langley Morgan Wallen collaboration song came out today. I Can't Love You Anymore. It is fantastic. I do love it. And I'm excited that it's come out now when they just kicked off their tour. And so their very first concert together was at Bryant Denny Stadium in Alabama. There were 80,000 people there. Yeah.
Wow.
And so I'm excited that hopefully when they come to Ben Hill Griffin Stadium next month that they'll do that song together.
Well, they brought out Saban, didn't Morgan Wallen? He came
out with Nick Saban because Morgan Wallen is a diehard Tennessee football fan and baseball fan, but diehard Tennessee fan. And so he thought the Alabama crowd might like him a little bit more if he had Saban.
But he brings people out, right?
But he does. Everywhere he goes, pretty much. Yeah.
That's cool.
I guess if you're as big as Morgan Wallen, you just somehow, some way call Nick Saban.
You get anybody's number. It doesn't matter.
Like Peyton Manning makes sense because they know each other because of the Tennessee connection. But there
has been some random ones that go out on stage, but I'm like, whatever. You text somebody and it's Morgan Wallen, you're like, sure, we'll have shotgun a beer on stage.
Absolutely.
I don't care. I did, by the way, speaking of Saban, did you see the Saban and Freeman talking about that? Like Saban made a comment of like, you're a hard coach. Like you're even harder than I am because I never had my guys practice at 6:45 in the morning. And Marcus Freeman's like, well, my guys have class, so we got to do it in the morning. They have to go to class.
And actually,
they actually have to go to class, coach.
Yes, 100%.
Class? What's that?
Yeah. What is that exactly? So a quarter of the NFL teams still have not made a pick. That would be the Bengals, Bills. Now the Bills, it was up to them.
They moved out,
But yeah, Bengals, Bills, Broncos, Colts, Falcons, Jaguars, of course, Packers, and 49ers. The Colts traded theirs away with that Sauce Gardner.
Right.
And then Falcons, I forget why the Falcons aren't picking in the first round.
I looked too, because when we were doing the media mock draft, I was like, I wonder why the Falcons aren't. I'll look, but
yeah.
I looked that up. I can't remember what that was for.
Yeah, I don't think, because they weren't one of the ones that traded out by any means, but we'll figure it out.
With the Rams, that included a pack. Oh, for James Pierce. They moved up with James Pierce.
That's right.
I looked at it before the media mock because I remember looking through and I was like, oh, Falcons traded theirs. And I'm like, why did they trade? And I was like, oh, for James Pierce, which looks a little messy right now.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah,
Although
it
it looks like the ex-girlfriend is at least allowing him to go through a rehab program to where he's not going to be charged with anything. So
no charges. And then the NFL can decide from there what they want suspension-wise.
So the ex-girlfriend, I feel like that's huge on her to be willing to allow that to happen.
Yeah.
Talk about
in the whole
yourself.
scheme of things. Talk about yourself.
Yeah. Well,
I've been dealing with allergies for 2 weeks now. And
You have.
I've been battling through, but every now and again I'll go to talk and then I just start coughing. And that's why
you've actually done a pretty good job. I feel like that's the first time it's like affected as you were speaking.
Tom yesterday was like, oh, you're actually laughing. Like, I'm making you laugh. I'm like, you've always made me laugh. I just would start coughing instead of laughing the last couple of weeks. So I'm finally to where I can laugh and not just start a coughing fit. But so tonight, the 49ers pick 33rd. So that'll be the first pick. Of course, they'll be on the clock to begin things. And then the Cardinals, Bills, Raiders, Giants, Texans, Browns, Chiefs, Bengals, Saints, Dolphins, Jets, Ravens, Bucks, Colts, Falcons, Vikings, Lions, Panthers, Packers, Steelers, Eagles, Chargers, and then the Jaguars. 56 has never felt so far away as it does today.
Yeah, it's late.
It seems even later than what 24 would have felt like last night.
Well, it's the bottom third, of the round. So you're going to be.
We're used to being bottom third, just not when it comes to picking.
No, right. Yeah, it'll be interesting. Look, I like. There's a lot of good football players that are going to be around that pick still to choose. I think in 81 and 88, there's going to be some really good football players. The question is there one or two that you covet, that has fallen out of that first round, and what are you willing to go get, give up to go get that person, and how far? What's realistic, I know last night I read where the Jets, who came in from 33 to 30, they swapped 33 and 30 and then added a 5th round pick, but that's just 3 slots.
Correct.
So
a lot of the moves last night were not going from later in the first round to early in the first round. It was, I mean, we saw ones that were just literally swapped.
Absolutely.
There. And so, I feel like going from 56 to anywhere early in the second round is going to take too much for
but
this
within
team.
10 maybe, depending on who falls.
I'm with you there.
Which it always is interesting to me, those like just one spot trades, because I feel like isn't part of the conversation. Like you have to ask, who are you taking? Because you don't want them to take who. So if you're like, who are you taking? And they say this player, and you're like, yeah, I agree. Then why would you trade up? Because you know that one person in front of you is not going to take the one person that you want.
I thought the same thing.
That's what happened last night.
Well,
though,
in case somebody else ends up moving up.
And takes your spot.
But
you don't. That's. I don't know. I guess you can look at it both ways. You could be like, just go get it, and then you're like, no, nobody's gonna.
The Cowboys, I think, were convinced that a team was going to trade up for Caleb Downs if they didn't. So that's why the Cowboys were at 12, the Dolphins were at 11, and the Cowboys said we will move up to the 11th spot because they wanted to make sure no other team got Caleb Downs, who they obviously coveted for sure, and then that's when the Dolphins got Caden Proctor.
How about Malachi Lawrence going 23?
Yeah. I like that, actually.
Yeah, I think at that
he climbed and climbed throughout the offseason.
Well, his workout was insane, and he seems to be a natural rusher. As far as bend and he's relentless getting to the QB,
which is good because the Cowboys haven't had a really good edge rusher in so long.
They let him all go.
Micah Parsons.
Yeah, Dexter Lawrence too. I mean, they let him go too, if you recall. Yeah. So, I think good move by them. But that's a good spot to take a chance on a guy like that. You got 2 picks, right?
Yeah.
And you need some help rushing a passer. So good for him, man. He jumped quite a bit.
Yeah, and Chris Johnson going in the first round.
I'm very high on Chris Johnson. I like him a lot. I was reading reports that he may sneak into the first round. Obviously, he got picked at 27. I think when it comes to, because everybody, obviously, the conversation when it comes to Jerry Jones does some crazy things, and because of the Micah Parsons thing. But honestly, you feel like you get an edge rusher in Malachi Lawrence. You got Caleb Downs now with what you got from Micah Parsons. So you were able to upgrade when it comes to getting one of the best safeties, the best safety in the NFL draft, a pass rusher. You bulked up that interior defensive line because that's what you used in the trade with the Packers. So that defensive line and defense looks like they're back on the up, and people were mocking him. It's not Micah Parsons, but if you have one Micah Parsons or 5 other guys that are really top tier players.
You got Kenny Clark who came with that Green Bay, and then Quinnen, who you grabbed. I mean, he's unbelievable.
Yeah, on the Jets.
Add Malachi Lawrence to that. I mean, that's. And then Downs, I mean, that's a pretty good D right there.
Right.
It looks like it anyway.
They feel like they have enough skill position players. George Pickens is going to sign the franchise tag. So you've got Prescott, obviously.
We'll see how all that goes.
Yeah.
But the defense for Dallas has been really bad, even like to your point with Micah Parsons. Sometimes, just one player isn't going to drastically change anything. But when it comes to the Jaguars tonight, I feel like edge and defensive tackle is where I'm leaning. Probably defensive tackle, then edge. Is if you're asking me right here, right now, at 2:43 on Friday, and the Jags will pick 56 at least for now. By the way, that for now was just to throw people off, I think, just a smokescreen, but from James Gladstone. But that's where I feel like it's going to be like defensive tackle and then edge in one of those 3 in the third round. Maybe throw in tight end. That's where I'm leaning as we sit here right now.
I think the wild card is a guard.
Okay. That's your wild card.
I don't think they'll do it, but if they did,
running back should probably be thrown in the mix too.
They'll feel like they can get the tackle and the edge in the third round.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not saying they can, but if they go that route, or it's the other way around. But I hope they go. There's a lot of edges I like. You know,
there's a lot of edges and defensive tackles I like. I'd be fine with either of those at 56-ish, wherever they end up
like
going.
Halton.
Yeah,
DT,
Grayson
like
Halton,
him.
I like
Who
a
else
lot.
would you like as a DT?
Lee Hunter, I like a lot.
Yeah, I do too.
Or
But
Mason
no
Thomas.
knows. He's just going to be a.
Yeah, he's kind of smaller. I've heard some critiques about him and the size and how he would fit.
Who's
Caden
that?
McDonald, I think Caden will be gone. I think he'll go pretty quickly in the
I
second. But
agree.
if he somehow slides down a little bit, I wouldn't be mad, honestly, if they moved up for him, because I think he's probably the best left on this board. But yeah, there's a few of those, and then the pass rush. To me, I think my wild card is safety.
Okay.
Because I think that next you have AJ Halsey, and then there's a big gap of safeties in between I'm probably more critical on safety than other people are, just because I think there's too much questions around Ransaw, and I don't like Eric Murray. So I think that's a bigger need than maybe some other people think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
The
think-
one I was talking about was R. Mason Thomas.
Yeah.
That's what she was
Another
saying,
rush
he's
kind of
undersized,
guy.
yeah.
You know, the Howell kid. He looks like
Cassius
he
Howell,
can get
yep.
after the QB. You know, guys like that. But
They said it was a deep edge rush
yeah.
draft. So
Christian Miller is another.
defensive
yeah,
tackle, yeah.
absolutely. Well, my number one would be Anthony Hill Jr. if you could go get him.
or CJ Allen.
Or C.J. Allen, yeah. Same
But
kind of play.
with all those picks before them, teams that need defensive help, I feel like that's the route they're also
There's a
going
lot
to
of
go.
talent that's going to be flying off that board.
Yeah.
No
For
doubt.
sure. All right. What does Tom have a take on today? We will find out next. You are listening to Helmets and Heels 10 to XL 92.5 FM.
I'm Frank Frangie. Our show will be live from Mr. Chubby's in Ponte Vedra talking NFL draft and a whole lot more. So come out and join us from 4 to 6 Friday for $12 select buckets of beer and $5 fireballs. This Friday at Mr. Chubby's Wings in Ponte Vedra.
DivorceMenOnly.com. This is Kenny Lay of Kenny Lay and Associates. Our firm specializes in representing men in family law. That's all we do. That's our only focus. We can help with all of your family law needs, such as divorce, custody, alimony, and child support. For over a decade, we have helped thousands of men with these types of issues. We even have an appellate division ready to challenge a judge's ruling. If you need a family law attorney, go to DivorceMenOnly.com. DivorceMenOnly.com. Offices, Jacksonville.
Lauren Brooks here. Out of my whole family, my mom was the most impressed with the closets we had installed from Closets by Design. And lucky for her, they are running a Mother's Day special, so she can finally get organized without breaking the bank. Closets by Design creates custom solutions for every lifestyle and every budget. Call this week to schedule your free in-home design consultation and get 40% off, plus an additional 15% off and free installation. For design ideas, make an appointment with Mom to go see their brand new showroom today. Call now, 800-293-3744, or visit closetsbydesign.com. Closets by Design. Imagine her home totally organized.
It's a Helmets and Heels Friday, enhanced by Bowden Iron Associates.
Florida Heat doesn't play games, but some AC companies do. You've heard the too good to be true ads. Let's be honest. Nobody sends a licensed AC technician to your house for $25. Suddenly, your cheap tune-up turns into a $1,000 problem. At Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning, we believe in taking care of our customers. Right now, you can chill out for just $99. That gets you a full AC diagnostic and the truth about your system. No scare tactics. Call 904-862-6769 or duckduckrooter.com.
Hi, folks. Frank Frangie for the farm at Okefenokee. My wife and I and a bunch of friends just got back from the farm, and we had an incredible experience. We toured the regenerative farm, as well as the beautiful handcrafted cabins, and were treated to a fantastic farm-to-table dinner created by Congreve and Penn. Man, was it good. Well, you can learn more at okefarm.com. That's okefarm.com. And even hear my interview with farm co-founder Doug Davis to learn even more about this amazing property. That's okefarm.com.
Spring cleaning isn't just for your house, it's for your life. If your job is getting old, it's time to clear the clutter and spring into IT. Go to My Computer Career.
My Computer Career helped me get the skills and certifications I needed to start a new life as an IT professional in months, not years.
Earn the certifications the top employers are looking for right now. Visit mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation to see if it's time to spring into IT. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Credit
card interest rates are now over 29%. Most people are only making the minimum payments, so they're getting nowhere. Hey, Prosser here, but here's what many homeowners don't realize. Using the equity in your home, you can easily access hundreds of thousands in cash. With Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan, you can pay off your credit card, your existing HELOC, your car loans, or get money for that home improvement project. One client just got $100,000 approved and saved over $1,500 a month. Here's the best part. With Loan Pronto, you can do it all from your phone. With zero out-of-pocket, no hard credit pull up front, no appraisal, no long, drawn-out bank process, and no touching your first mortgage. Rates are at a near 3-year low. Act now. Go to loanpronto.com. See how much you can get in about 60 seconds. Loan Pronto, 2,800 5-star Google reviews. Call 904-999-1508 or go to loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Save up to $400 on Browning gun sales right now at Green Acres Sporting Goods. During the Browning tax refund rebate, get up to $400 back on select safes, built to protect your firearms, valuables, and peace of mind. Green Acres is Northeast Florida's largest Browning dealer, with the selection ready for you today. But don't wait, this offer ends April 30th. Shop now at greenacresporting.com and take advantage before it's gone.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah.
7 p.m. tonight is when it all kicks off this evening. Last night it began at 8 p.m. and I enjoyed the broadcast. We watched on ESPN. And I liked how quickly it moved throughout. I liked the limited time that they had from 10 minutes down to 8 minutes. The only thing, Taylor and I were discussing this before the show, Tom, the only thing that I didn't love as much was I don't know that we need the player interviews in those moments because we're now getting delayed on teams making the pick. So while I understand the value for some people, maybe that's an alternate broadcast. Like now here's a few moments with the players and the rest of us are just locked into, okay, team player.
Right. Yeah, I mean, look, it's nice to hear from the kid, but at the same time, like.
But not blocking me who a team is picking. Right. Imagine if the Jaguars, it said the pick is in.
Right. And
I love Laura Rutledge. She's phenomenal.
Yeah.
And she did a great job last night.
Yeah.
She stayed calm. She asked great questions, all the things. But if it said the pick is in for the Jaguars and I'm over here like listening to the player before just answer questions about how far they've come, I'd be like, hurry up.
And that's why I think there's ways to do it. We were talking off air a little bit, and maybe just do it to where you have a room where those interviews are happening, but not live. And then what you can do if you have time, so if that team does take the full 8 minutes or whatever, and you have a couple minutes, then you can say, let's hear from Ty Simpson. He was just drafted by the Rams at pick 13. Let's head over there. And then you can jump to that and still get those interactions and the interviews, because I do think, I mean, the draft is about not you or us. The draft is about the players getting drafted. So you still want that aspect of it. But there's, I think, a way to do it without it feeling, but I do like the speed of it. It did feel like, oh, it's flowing a little faster. You didn't feel like you were waiting forever in between. I saw Warren Sharp say the NFL obviously changed from the 10 to the 8. So last year in 2025, it was 3 hours and 29 minutes that the draft took. This year was 2 hours and 53 minutes.
Yeah,
so
nice.
that's 40 minutes, that's a significant amount of time that you're saving in that.
And the NFL does a great job with that in the regular season, too. Postseason as well.
Yes.
Other than the Super Bowl
I liked
halftime.
it. I watched ESPN, too. When did you guys text thinking I was asleep and I wasn't asleep yet? I fell asleep around pick 21 and then woke up around 27. 2018.
Had have been I think it was like 9:40 because I wasn't on my podcast.
I was wide awake then.
I don't think we thought you were asleep, did we?
I think
you made a comment about something.
I think you took it as her saying that. I was wondering too, because you were like, "I'm awake," and I was like, "Why are you yelling at us?"
I didn't yell. I just said, I didn't do it in caps.
It was like, I'm awake. Wide awake is what you said.
Wide awake.
Because she said by Tom, we'll see about Ty.
Yeah, wide awake.
Yeah, I was talking about Stafford must have told him he's getting close. Nicely done by Tom. That's what I was saying. Nicely done by Tom.
Yeah,
as in Pelissero.
Sarah, yeah.
Tom Pelissero.
And you thought she was talking about you, so you said wide awake, and I was like, relax.
I thought that's what you wrote.
No, because Tom Pelissero earlier this week said that the Rams had done extensive work on Ty Simpson.
Yeah.
And so I said, nicely done by Tom. We'll see about Ty.
Right.
And I didn't realize I should clarify. Tom, I believe you're still awake at this moment.
Not everything's about you, Tom.
I was awake. Well, you got me on the thread. I think I'm a part of the conversation.
You
I
were
read it
part
wrong.
of the conversation.
I read it wrong.
You didn't react to Ty Simpson being drafted 13th overall. All right, let's see what your take is on today.
Now, Tommy's Takes. Protected by Morgan & Morgan. ForThePeople.com. Or dial #law. That's all.
All right, my take today is Caleb Banks, number 18 to Minnesota. How about that? They take a chance on the big man out of Florida when healthy, and that foot's healthy. He's definitely a monster on that D-line. Had the surgery, broke it again. Obviously they did extensive, research and looking at that foot and where it happened, how it happened. They must feel pretty confident that that's not going to be a reoccurring thing. So very happy for the young man. You saw his family all around him. It's a big moment. Like everybody else that gets drafted, it's absolutely incredible moment for them and their families. But congrats to Caleb Banks. And hopefully he can stay healthy because I'm sure he could be a menace on that D-line at that next level if he can, in fact, do that. And that's my take for today. And it's beautiful Friday afternoon, brought to you by our good friends at Morgan & Morgan.
Yeah, look, I think Caleb Banks, like you said, when healthy, could be the best defensive tackle in this draft because of his size, because of his abilities.
Yeah, the league seemed to think so too, right?
Yeah, the question obviously comes down to health, but we've seen other players come into the league with some sort of injury issues and then end up being fine. I mean, we talk about Miles Jack. Jalen Ramsey also came into the league with some knee stuff and was very snippy with reporters back when they were asking him about it, which is a natural question that they're going to ask about. But either way,
that's also natural Jalen Ramsey.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's his personality.
Tony Bracken, same thing. They question his knees. Yeah, he never... He did at the end, but not in between.
Right.
Yeah.
And look, I think realistically, you're trying to get somewhere between 3 to 5 really good years out of players. If you get longer than that, fantastic.
Yep.
But I would imagine if you took the NFL average of prime time for these players and all players in the league, it's probably somewhere between 3 to 5 years. It would be my guess.
Yeah,
for drafted players, maybe not undrafted.
Yeah, total, I'd say like 3 to 7.
3
it
to
feels
7,
like
okay.
a lot of guys that I play. I was done at 5, but like 7 or 9, like some of that range seemed to be like if you got past that, like John Wade played 12, you're like, holy cow, 12
Great
years.
career, yeah.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah. The kickers and the quarterbacks tend to have the longevity,
tend
but
to
there's
hang
so
on.
many other position
Absolutely.
groups like running backs that
Running
don't
back
have
could
that.
be
Yeah.
7. Yeah, I mean, and think about how the pounding running backs take year in and year out, especially if they're the lead, the lead back.
Yeah. And what I mean is not total years in the league. I meant seasons you're going to get really good productivity. Like, for instance, there are guys like Trevor Lawrence who, he's played at least every year, but like Joe Burrow. We've missed seasons from Joe Burrow because of injury.
Absolutely.
So when you take the totality of his career whenever he's done, and again, he's a quarterback, so it'll be a little longer, but you'll have to be able to pick out certain years that you got the elite productivity.
Well, you'll be like, well, what if? What if Joe never got hurt?
Yeah.
What if he never had those injuries?
Right.
What
if he did his
Bengals
own
say that
laundry?
every night before they go to sleep.
No kidding.
Yeah, what if he did his own laundry? Maybe he'd be a little tougher.
Maybe so.
Or he may hurt himself,
Mama's
so
boy.
we need to stay away.
Yeah, exactly.
Keep him, bubble wrap him. Don't let him get hurt.
That's right. That's right. Well, we'll see what they continue to do in the draft. They got to build up front. That's for sure.
Big time.
I mean, that's what I'm doing. Just take care. Yeah, and say that's why lineman wouldn't surprise me here. Just because you got to protect your number one asset. It's Trevor Lawrence. And if you feel like you got to upgrade that guard, and you got someone there or a tackle that's just better or as good as what you have, you make the move. You got these. You can go a little bit like, look, Kyle Lewis probably won't be there from Pitt. Maybe Genesis Smith, the safety, from Arizona, will be. You can also go late, like Caleb Tiernan, the tackle from Northwestern, maybe a little bit later.
Yeah.
You could go either.
If they go
either
offensive
side.
line, I'd be surprised if anyone's upset. I think everyone's just immediately going to go, okay,
Trevor.
It may be a little longer for Cole Van Lannon. They don't love Walker Little regardless of where he's going to play.
Yeah.
And so yes, of course, they have to protect Trevor.
Yep.
Look at what Trevor can do when Trevor's protected and knows the offense and things like that. All right, we'll keep the football conversation going, and we have a giveaway on the other side, so don't go anywhere. It's Helmets and Heels, 1010 XL, 92.5 FM.
What are you doing? You touched that switch and...
Which one? This?
1010.
More power.
10 XL.
Hey, it's Carline here for Atlantic Infinity, and yes, I'm still loving my new QX60. Right now, you can lease one or lock in just 1.9% financing for 60 months, and every new Infinity comes with the Atlantic Infinity Promise. That's over $7,000 in added value. That's one of many reasons why I bought mine there. No pressure, no games, just a great experience. Make your next ride an Infinity from Atlantic Infinity. Visit AtlanticInfinity.com or the showroom near Atlantic and St. John's Bluff.
It's a Helmets and Heels
Bowden Iron Associates
Friday.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialist is now offering ortho walk-in appointments. If you have an immediate need for orthopedic care, contact Southeast Orthopedic Specialist immediately. Avoid ERs and urgent care waiting rooms. For more information, go to se-ortho.com.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Share your voice anytime on the 1010XL text line.
Are you serious? Installed by Lifetime Flooring.
I gotta say, you're totally blowing my mind right now.
If you can't call or email, text us. 641-1010.
So, you finally have some time to yourself. Even if it is just the car ride home, it's you time. And look at you. Do not disturb set before you even got in the car? Impressive. You've earned this moment to just chill and drive. This break is brought to you by Target Zero and the Florida Department of Transportation.
WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Jacksonville, your refund just hit. Don't let it vanish on bills. Superior Fence and Rail doubles it. Match up to $250 on 100 feet or more. Picture this. One day install transforms your yard into a private oasis with a quality that turns heads. From check to fenced paradise, faster than you think. Call today or visit SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
SportsForecaster.com has all the data you need to project tomorrow's winners. Register for free and track the performance of all your favorite players and teams, including all your fantasy team picks and prospects. Sports Forecaster has the most detailed player profiles on the web, precise depth charts, every transaction, every injury, every news update. No ranting or raving, no preening or barstool bluster. At SportsForecaster.com, you get the timely info you need for every game. SportsForecaster.com. Sign up for free today.
Hello, this is Father Nicholas Lowe, and I want to talk to you about not being afraid of the crosses of life. Life can be difficult. Maybe today you're carrying a cross of worry or stress. Let me encourage you to remember that when Christ got on the big cross at Golgotha, he destroyed all the little crosses that we face in our life. He set us free from fear, worry, and anxiety. Our job is not to be carried by the cross, but to be carried by our faith.
For more inspiration, log on to stjohnthedivine.com.
The best value for golf in Jacksonville remains Cimarron. Totally reestablished with new tee boxes, improved fairways and greens, also a brand new restaurant with indoor and outdoor settings, and live music. Join the Wild One loyalty program online at Cimarron Golf. When's the last time you played Cimarron? Cimarron Golf Club on 210, the Wild One.
Daly's Dash is not only your Jaguars game day stop, but a great place to grab a meal any day of the week. To honor the Jags and the fans, we've crafted the Duval Sub. The Duval comes with freshly sliced turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheese, topped with crisp lettuce, fresh tomatoes, and a double portion of our secret sauce, all served on a fresh roll. Come by your local's Daly's Dash today to get your delicious Duval Sub. Daly's is the official convenience store sponsor of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I'm Max Fink with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update brought to you by Southern Oak Insurance. The Gators baseball team is set to host Texas A&M Aggies this weekend for a 3-game series. First pitch for Game 1 will be cross home plate at 6:30 and 5 o'clock for Game 2 tomorrow. wrapping up with Game 3 Sunday at 1. Tune into the games on 1010 AM or the 1010XL app. It's 81 degrees at 3 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
Tomorrow night at 7:30, we've got tickets to go see the men's Sporting Jacks game against Miami FC at Hodges Stadium on the campus of UNF. If you want to go, we've got a family 4-pack for you right now. Be caller number 2 at 641-1010. Caller number 2, and you are on your way to watch some soccer tomorrow evening. The Jaguars-Browns trade, by the way, is now complete. The Jaguars got Travis Hunter, Bayshal Tootin, and Rayon Lane. The Browns got Mason Graham, Quinshawn Judkins, Dylan Sampson, and Casey Concepcion. I love that name, Concepcion.
Who won the trade?
I think time has to tell with that one because we didn't get to see a full season of Travis Hunter. But I mean, obviously, I really like Tootin. We'll see if he ends up being the RB1 for this team. And I really like Rayon Lane. The Browns, however, really like the guys. At least they liked Mason Graham last year. Quinshawn Judkins is good. Dylan Sampson, they didn't use him as much, obviously, because they like Judkins. And then this year, Casey Concepcion, I liked him watching him in college.
Yeah, I think we definitely have to see it play out a little more because you need to see the production of these guys for more seasons. But it could be a pretty even trade if it could be a point where you're looking at it and be like both teams won in this scenario. It looks like the Browns got 3 starters and just already looking at it. So that's what you want to get out of that. And I think Dylan Sampson, you have an RB2, so you have an RB1, an RB2, starting defensive tackle, then a wide receiver. So I think they're probably pretty happy with it. But then you here in Jacksonville, you could say the same thing. If if Travis Hunter is what Travis Hunter is, then that alone, I don't even honestly care about Tootin and Rayon Lane. I think that just Travis Hunter would make that, if he is what people say he can be, that type of thing, that full on, whether it's that lockdown corner or does both, whatever, that's a conversation for another time. But I think just that pick, with the other two right now, I think it's Tootin obviously is a big TBD that we don't know yet. And Rayon Lane, I mean, he's a good player, but I don't think that's anybody that you'd match up to saying that's a starter that you think matches up to the 3 starters they potentially got.
Good special teams player and can fill in for you when needed, right? And you need guys like that for sure. I think Mason Graham ended up being a pretty good defensive tackle. Yeah. It's nice when Myles Garrett's next to him. I'm sure that helps, but still, I'm sure they were really good against the run this year, which means your tackles are doing work. So, but it all comes down to Travis Hunter. It all comes down to what he can turn into and what he can be.
If Travis Hunter is a good corner, let's just throw that out there. And then if Tootin gets the 13 total touchdowns that Etienne got last year, then we're almost
then
regardless
you're saying it's
of,
even.
Yeah, but to me, then almost regardless of what the Browns players do, you're thinking the Jags got 2 stellar players.
I mean, you're saying good.
Yeah,
if he's a good corner and a good running back, good to great, then you feel even.
Good this season because I don't know that Travis Hunter is going to be an elite corner in his very first season playing that position full-time in the NFL, but maybe in years past or years beyond, I should say.
I think he can be elite right away as a corner. I think he's got all the tools. Obviously, he's got to stay healthy. Tootin, I mean, gosh, if he can get you 13 touchdowns, that would be a godsend. But I don't know. I think if they thought that, then maybe they don't go after many, and they don't go get Chris Rodriguez. I think he's a nice insurance policy for them in case Tootin doesn't end up being who they hope he can be.
That's where the draft will give us more answers again.
Yeah, I think
if they don't draft a running back, or they don't draft a running back until very late, like they did with LaQuint Allen, more of a specialty type of running back, then I think that gives us our answer that they believed in Tootin all along, and maybe it was a smokescreen with Ja'Marr Price. By the way, do we say the word smokescreen outside of before the draft?
Not really.
Like in regards to the draft, we say it all the time.
So.
We never talk about I think your boss is smokescreen.
In the normal daily life, definitely not.
No,
maybe sometimes in the NFL world throughout the season, certain things you'll be like, oh, this seems like a smokescreen. Like right before the trade deadline, you'll hear some stuff, but not just like talking about your friends.
It sounds like slang in the dating game, like catfishing, but you're smokescreening me, man. I don't know what that means, but that's what it sounds like.
Like in baseball, fire sale, we hear about before the trade deadline all the time. And that seems like to be only a baseball trade deadline type of thing, too. But by the way, Matt Hayes had that tweet earlier about the Jaguars-Browns trade and it now being complete. And originally, instead of Mason Graham, he put Brandon Graham. And so I texted him and I was like, I think you meant Mason, not Brandon. And I was like, I know, I recognized it that quickly because one of my friends who just had a baby boy named him Graham after Brandon Graham because she's the one that has the Eagles tattoo, diehard Eagles fan.
What a great player he's
And
been.
Matt was like, well, Brandon's better than Mason. And I was like, well, if they got Brandon Graham, then they would have won the trade. Again, we'll see what Travis Hunter does.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I think they're going to work him on both sides of the football, and then we'll see how that all works out, I know what I want him to do, or would hope that he does, is play full-time corner and then sprinkle him in on the other side. I do think he can shut down people. I do think he can give your defense a real boost in that passing game.
I guess I'm being realistic when I say maybe good this year and then elite beyond.
I don't know.
Because I had such high expectations for him last year of being both elite or elite on both sides of the ball.
And probably rehabbing until camp, too.
Right, also true.
Well, yeah, coming back from the injury. But let's say even before the injury as a corner, I mean, you saw it early that he could hang with the big boys.
That's
true.
True.
Right away. Like, he was right in their hip pocket. He wasn't overwhelmed by any, size or strength or speed. He was right there the entire time, as he got on, throughout the year, he, when called upon, he made some really good plays. He got beat a couple times. I mean, that's going to happen. It's not like he's, Superman every single play. But I think as he plays more and more and gets into that rhythm of playing that kind of corner, I think sky's the limit. And the injury that always will factor in that first year because it's up here in your head. You're thinking about the injury constantly, even after you've rehabbed. But once you get that out of your head and you forget about it, you'll get back to normal. Maybe it won't happen for him, but it does happen just because it's a major thing and you don't want it to happen again.
Yeah.
I remember coming back.
Nothing happened. It was non-contact. That has to be even more like what was I doing in that moment to make that injury happen?
Yeah, no. I was just going to say, coming off the ACL in camp, I'm running down on a punt thing just on air and had to break down and cut, and I felt this little like ting, and I was like, oh no, like did I do it again? I didn't, but it goes through your mind, and then you got to go through that whole thing again, and then so hopefully it doesn't. His is smooth. Sounds like he's doing it really well. That goes for Cole too, and it goes for Caleb. That Achilles is no joke either. You got him. I'm sure it's fully healed by now because it happened so long ago, but. That, upstairs where he's not thinking about it, cutting on instinct, not like gathering himself to cut. And maybe he's doing that now. He could be on air. And then it turns into the instinctive change of direction and how you got to do that in a split second. And he's, how do you feel about that? It's like with a wide receiver coming off an ankle or a foot or something like that. Does he gather to make the cut or does he just cut and go?
Yeah.
You'll be able to find out pretty quick.
I think that was also part of Brian Thomas Jr.'s issues last year is he had an ankle injury, and I think we kind of skipped over it because so much other stuff was going on at that point in time. But I think that could have potentially also negatively affected him.
Yeah. I mean, look.
He had a wrist injury, too.
Yeah. Which is hard to catch. Can't run, can't catch.
Yeah, you got a problem.
It's hard to play at a high level. I mean, look, if we give it to Trayvon and Eric, which we do, you got to give it to all the guys. And if Brian Thomas was banged up like that, maybe that was part of the problem of him last year.
It's so crazy, like we talked about. Anton Harrison, his rookie season, plays through a shoulder injury that requires surgery.
Yeah.
Foye Oluokun, 2 years ago, played through, and was it an oblique or...
he had an oblique injury.
Yeah, an oblique injury. Like, how do you play middle linebacker, or I guess that season he was weak side linebacker, but either way, how do you play linebacker in the NFL with that type of injury? It's wild. And then other guys, obviously, it completely derails them.
Well, I mean, look, we're all different, right? So tolerance of pain is different. Some guys can play through it. Some guys, it hinders them so much that they can't just mentally, be like, screw it, I'm just going to play. Some guys are like, but most guys, at least from what my experience is, they're like, can I hurt it again?
Yeah.
If I can't hurt it again, I can handle the pain. And give me a couple of shots, whatever I got to do to get through the pain. But as long as you're confident, I'm not going to hurt it anymore. Like the pain's not telling me it's getting worse.
Correct.
It's just pain. Then I can deal with that pain.
And that's what's then on the doctors to be able to decide what is going to potentially make things worse and what you can play through. Because as we've seen, if you have a calf injury that can lead to an Achilles tear, you don't obviously want that.
Well, and there are times you could be dinged up with an ankle and the coach is like, look, we need you. Even though you may not be full speed, we may not even use you a ton, but we need you. And you got to act like you're healthy.
Josh Allen played multiple games with a broken foot in the postseason.
Absolutely.
Towards the end of the
and
season
multiple
and the
other injuries during that.
Right.
No doubt.
Yeah, it is wild. All over the board for sure. All right, Lauren's Lane on the other side. You are listening to Helmets and Heels on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser.
Do you even know how to work this stupid thing?
Professional.
We've got to do something.
Steadfast.
Very confused by what's going on.
Deep thinkers.
Here we go. Focus.
Mornings on the drill.
Abundanza.
On 1010XL.
Frank Franzi here for Bono's Pit Barbecue. Bono's has been serving Jacksonville's best barbecue for over 75 years. And now, catch this. Bono's new limited time offer features an Atlantic fried cod platter with 2 pieces of mouth-watering fried cod and 1 southern side for $15.49, or a fried cod sandwich with 1 southern side for $12.99. You can't beat that deal. And after 1 bite, you'll be hooked. So you better hurry in. The fried cod platter right now at Bono's. And remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
Helmets and Heels Friday
Is brightened by Bowden Iron Associates.
Yeah, I know how awful it is to get injured, but not like my friend Tom, who got rear-ended last year. Tom McMahon is here. Morgan & Morgan can help you. They're the largest personal injury law firm in the nation. 1,000 lawyers, 100 offices across the nation, and over $30 billion recovered. And guess what? They don't get a single penny unless you do. A proven track record with backup. Hard to find these days, but not with Morgan & Morgan. For the people, that's right. Get injured due to someone's neglect, get paid. Dial pound law or check out forthepeople.com.
Before the Gators tip off, get tips from the great Gator. Patrick Young has breakfast with the Drill Friday mornings at 8:30, and they're talking Gators hoops. Take time out with Patrick Young. Tipped off by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists and Kuhn Flowers.
Stunning visuals, extended arrangements. Experience Pink Floyd like never before. Floyd Nation returns to the Florida Theater with the Inner Light Tour, a powerful, immersive live show with the music you love. Wish you were here, comfortably numb, time, and another brick in the wall. It's more than a tribute, it's a journey. Floyd Nation, November 13th at Florida Theater. Tickets on sale now at floridatheater.com.
For 25 years, Instant Keys has been the go-to locksmith service for car keys, transponders, and even high-tech smart locks. For honest, professional locksmith service,
Instant Keys comes to you.
Hicken here. Experience crystal clear vision with the Eye Associates, formerly Bowden Eye Associates, Schneider Eye and Wellness Center, and Janet Betchkel, MD, Jacksonville's leader in advanced eye care. From routine eye exams to specialized vision care, their experienced team dedicated to improving and preserving your vision. The same care you've come to trust, now with a new name. To schedule your appointment today, call the Eye Associates, formerly Bowden Eye Associates, Schneider Eye and Wellness Center, and Janet A. Betchkel, MD, at 296-0098.
Budweiser reminds us to drink wiser, like hydrating between beers. It keeps the fun going longer, and it's a commitment to responsibility. Remember, good times are ahead, so no need to overdo it. Know when to say when, and always designate a driver.
I'm here with Clayton Bromberg of Underwood Jewelers. Clayton, you have told us about buying better quality diamonds, but is there any way to start with a smaller diamond and use it to trade up to a larger diamond later on?
Frank, it's interesting you'd ask that because our founder, H.F. Underwood, popularized growing your diamond here in Jacksonville about 50 years ago, and it's something we still do today. When a customer buys an Underwood engagement ring or solitaire diamond pendant or a pair of ear studs, we guarantee they get the price they paid for it on the purchase of any larger diamond. Now, a lot of stores would say, big deal. We do that too, but here's the Underwood difference. We guarantee you get what you paid when you trade in your Underwood diamond, even if you're trading up by only $1. It's not that you have to trade up 2 for 1 like most jewelers ask. There have been literally thousands of people in the Jacksonville area who have taken advantage of our policy, and Underwood still grows a lot of diamonds for a lot of people.
Underwood, serving excellence since 1928. In San Marco, Avondale, and the shops of Ponte Vedra.
Hey, Hicken here. I want to tell you guys about Lift Power. Lift Power, a Jacksonville-based business, been around for more than 50 years, family-owned and operated, and always on the lookout for good folks, experienced lift, truck, and dock and door technicians. The benefits out of this world: 401k, company vehicle, paid training, sign-on bonus. Offered so great. Come see why Lift Power has been voted one of the best places to work for the past several years as well. We want you to be a part of the family. Don't let this opportunity slip by. To learn more, all you got to do is go to liftpower.com. Check them out at liftpower.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch.
Taylor Dahl, Tom McManus, Aaron Williams, filling in for RJ Saunders. I'm Lauren Brooks with you on this Friday afternoon. Like we've said all week, tonight is when the Jaguars will most likely make a pick. We were correct, and they are picking at 56 as of now. We will see as the night unfolds whether or not that changes. Mr. Chubby's in Ponte Vedra is the spot to be.
Yep.
Frangie Show from 4 to 6, and then into the night with Rick Ballou from 6 to 7, and then the actual draft show with Frank Frangie, Jeff Loggeman, and I'm sure some special guests will kick off at 7 o'clock there from Mr. Chubby's, and we'll go all the way through that Jaguars pick. Are y'all ready for Lauren's Lane?
I am ready.
Yeah, come on.
Let's
talk
do it.
gymnastics, babe.
No, that's over, Tom.
Oh, that's right.
Well,
you don't
this
want to
hurt her
rehash
a little
it.
bit.
Yeah.
Now, Lauren's Lane. Opened up by Closets by Design. Imagine your home totally organized.
I have quite a few things that have
Imagine.
come in. That's right. Just imagine. I have quite a few things that have come into Lauren's Lane, none of them having to do with the NFL. So we'll get back to the NFL in a little bit. But first and foremost, thoughts and prayers with the Tebow family. Tim Tebow announced today that his dad passed away last night. His dad, Bob. He was diagnosed with Parkinson's back in 2016. So he was battling that ever since then. But the way you would expect, the way Tebow shared the news is, don't be sad that my dad has gone home. He's with Jesus, and we are not, going to mourn him on earth, but certainly celebrate that he is home.
Yeah. Yeah, he was always a nice guy to me, Mr. Tebow. Actually, that whole family, Tim. Met Rob a couple of times, but it's hard, hard losing your parents, hard losing somebody you look up to, and hard to lose somebody that you're really close with, and I know they were close for sure.
But as you know, when you see someone you love suffering, you don't want them to suffer anymore.
No.
And I'm sure that that's part of it too.
Yeah.
It wasn't a sudden.
Yeah, and your faith, if you have that faith, you believe they're in a better place. Like there is no more pain.
Right.
Like I whispered to my mother, I'm like, just wait. You're gonna be able to see out of both eyes when you get to heaven.
Exactly. No more pain and suffering.
Yeah, no more pain. So that helps a ton.
Tebow's parents met at the University of Florida in 1971.
Wow.
My parents met at the University of Florida a few years before that. But yeah, I think that's or right around there actually too. But I feel like that their family, to your point, Tom, they've done so many great things. Obviously, they moved to the Philippines. That's where Tim was born, and then moved back here and have such a lasting legacy here in our community.
Yeah.
So, like I said, thoughts and prayers with his family.
Yep.
In college football, did y'all realize that a certain spring game was last night, kicking off at 8 p.m.?
Yeah, Indiana.
Isn't that
Wow.
wild? Kurt
Oh, right.
Signetti's
I heard-
Indiana
right.
Hoosiers had
Yeah.
a spring game at the same time as the first overall pick was announced to be Fernando Mendoza. They obviously had it on the video boards there, but
Right.
I just found that slightly odd timing.
It
It
is
is kinda
interesting.
weird,
It's very Signetti to me. I feel like he's one of those guys. He does things out of the box, and that's how he is. And he kind of has this tough. I'm going to
moving
do.
on.
Yeah, okay, cool. We won the national championship, and congratulations, Mendoza. But we have another one to win. We have another football team to build, and we just lost our quarterback, so we got to figure this out. And so he's just very that mindset, and I mean, you love it, you hate it. Some people will fully be like, that's awesome because cool, you're running a program and that's what your main focus should be. And some other people are going to like what Freeman was at the draft and because he knew that Love and possibly Price was going to go. And he was like, I don't want to miss this moment. I want to be there for them. So there's two style coaches. They're very different and I don't think either are right, or right or wrong, but I do think it is. He's like right at 8 p.m. We're going to be doing practice.
So crazy.
Well, it could be, hey, we're moving on. And number two, look what could happen to you.
Yeah.
Like, look at Fernando. He's
But
up
you
there
can't
on the
look because
stage.
you got to practice.
Yeah, well, you can still see it while you're practicing.
Like a lot of his teammates, Mendoza's teammates, were having to practice last night instead of being able to enjoy that moment with each other.
Be at his party of the 200 people that were at his house.
I was like, this house is nice in Miami. We need to head on down there for a party. But look, like you said, there's no right or wrong way to do it. I do think that college coaches, and John Calipari is a prime example of this in the college basketball world, it helps your recruiting to be alongside the faces of those getting drafted, because then the next generation wants to go to your school because they know they could be one and done again, and that's in basketball. But in football, it's great for Marcus Freeman to be on TV, whether it's high school recruits or whether it's kids in the transfer portal.
You saw Cristobal.
Mario Cristobal, Jason Taylor was with them too.
Yeah, they were all back there.
Yeah, they had obviously 3 guys there. But yeah, I found that interesting. Josh Hoover is the quarterback most likely to start, expected to start for the Hoosiers this year. He was 6 of 13 for 94 yards, so didn't look great, but all reports that I read said that, yes, I read about Indiana football. That's what we've come to in 2026.
Is he a transfer?
He's a transfer from TCU.
Okay.
Everyone said that the offensive line looked terrible. 2 of their better guys, I guess, are injured right now. And also this time a year ago, Mendoza did not look like he would win the Heisman Trophy either.
Mendoza threw a lot of picks from the school he came from, right?
Cal.
Like 15 or something, like crazy amount.
Yeah, he was a high turnover quarterback then. So obviously Signetti and his staff, were able to transform him. But yeah, thought that was interesting as far as just the timing of it. Tomorrow morning is the 18th annual Vision Walk. It'll be held at Jacksonville University. The reason that I mentioned that is I get to MC it once again this year.
Oh, cool.
And it's a fundraiser for Foundation for Fighting Blindness. And so I think y'all know, but obviously not necessarily everyone out there listening, I had some eye issues when I was in my early 20s that left me partially blind in one of my eyes, and so I have a soft spot when it comes to anyone that's deal with eye issues. A lot of the people that support Foundation for Fighting Blindness are far worse off than me, many of them fully blind, but certainly a good cause, a good thing to raise money for.
You're blind like Rocky. Remember, he had the one eye. He didn't see it till fully came in, right?
That's right.
I remember the high five. Remember, I was like, high five me, Lord. You're like, you're not high fiving me. I was like, why is
you didn't say the word?
She's like, I can't see you.
This is during USA Canada hockey, so I'm watching TV and watching us win the gold medal.
But I thought the peripheral, but you don't have the peripheral.
I do not, so in my right eye, I don't have peripheral on either side. So it's not just the outside, it's also the inside. But my left eye makes up for it.
Gotcha.
So if you're ever walking beside Lauren and she bumps you, she's not being rude, she can't see you. But the amount of times we do that, I'm like, why am I walking on this side of you? I know you can't see.
I always try to put people on the left-hand side of me, so that way I don't bump into them. But there are times that it inadvertently happens, so sorry in advance, people. Sorry in advance. What else has come into Lauren's lane tomorrow night? Roskaloosa is my first time ever going to Roskaloosa, the singer-songwriter festival down in Nocatee. It obviously started on Roscoe Boulevard. Tom, you've been before.
I have. It benefits the J Fund too.
And this year,
absolutely, it's grown tremendously. Steve Nicks has done a great job. He's a big part.
Our friend Barry Milligan
of
too.
Of the J Fund, and he started Roskaloosa all by himself in the early days, and it's grown into a really cool festival for sure.
Yeah, it started at Kim. I forget Kim's last name, but Kim's parents' house on Palm Valley Road is the story that I was told.
That's right. And then it moved to the right at where Nocatee, but now there's homes and everything where it was just an open field.
Right.
That was pretty cool. So yeah, it's an awesome thing.
Yeah, I'm
so
excited.
What is the setup of the? It's like a bunch of bands playing like at the same time, or there's one stage and there's go throughout the day.
Last time I went, it was one stage.
It's one stage. There's going to be waves, and I've been to the Palm Coast Songwriters Festival, and so I kind of had an idea of how it would go. So basically, there's usually like 3 or 4 people on stage together. It's not a full band. It's just usually one person with their guitar and acoustic guitars. And each person has written songs that have become very famous, songs that you would absolutely know.
Yeah,
totally.
I'm super excited about obviously all the country ones for sure. But so some of these people have written songs for Tim McGraw. Let's say he's one of them. I think even Chris Stapleton. So they'll get up, they'll sing a song that they wrote. And then the next person will take a turn, and the next person, and then so it kind of goes in
that's cool.
like waves like that. Sometimes they'll join together, not usually. And then at least the one I went to, and then they'll go off the stage entirely, and a new group will come up, and then it'll kind of go like that in waves.
Yeah.
And then Barry told me that at the very end, there's kind of like a jam band type of atmosphere.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to it.
That'll be a good time. Yeah.
A lot of vendors will be out there. It'll be a good time. Really good time.
Yeah, so super pumped about that. And then on Sunday, because Vision Walk and then Roskaloosa is not busy enough of a weekend, so after the draft tonight. So Sunday, heading down to Gainesville for Florida Texas A&M baseball. You can hear that entire series. The 3-game series begins this evening. You can hear all 3 games on 1010 AM and the stream. But yeah, super pumped to go. My parents are going, and then our good friends Johnny, Molly, and Roya, their daughter, are going. And we got berm seats, just going to sit out there. Hopefully it doesn't rain. There is some rain projected. But super excited to see the baseball team up close and personal once again.
That'll be fun, and it's not a midweek game, so you should win.
Hopefully, although we lost the series last weekend. You're
I
riding
said
your
I'm
bike?
riding my bike to happy hour with my wife, so
I
that's something.
love it. This time
Today,
of year
tomorrow, and Sunday.
it's a 3-game bike ride series for Tom and
Get
Christina.
some appetizers while we're out. Yeah.
This I've told you this before. This is my favorite time of year to ride bikes because the jasmine is in full bloom,
It
and
is,
so
yeah.
everywhere on the bike ride you pick up a sense of jasmine, which is my favorite.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just a beautiful scenery on the beach, your first street, second, whatever.
Yep, as long as you're
whip around.
safe right there because it's happy hour.
Yeah.
And Taylor, your weekend plans?
Yeah, so tonight, shout out, happy birthday to my best friend Mariah. It's her birthday tonight, so we will be going out. One of our friends' bands playing, so we're gonna eat dinner. We're gonna go to dinner, then go see this band play. They're a lot of fun. I'm not gonna tell you because I don't want everybody to show up where we're gonna be. But then on Saturday, another friend's birthday. We're having a pool party, weather permitted. Cookout pool party, and then Sunday I don't know, I might just relax a little bit on Sunday. I've been going from I was doing podcasts last night from like 9:30 until midnight pretty much, so I think I'll be ready to just
My favorite
rest
time of this, like around now, is late afternoon. Like you still got 2.5 hours before the sun goes down. You go up to the beach, bring some food, some drink, and just sit there and
golden hour.
it's the best. Listen to some music and hang out with your family, friends. Jump in the water or not, you know what I mean? Just wait till
I
the
love
sun goes
bocce
down.
too, as long as it's low tide. Have some room for bocce balls.
Great.
Oh, I love bocce balls.
Heck
Yeah. As long as somebody can bring it to the beach.
It's a little heavy for me.
It is heavy. All right, more football on the other side. You are listening to Helmets and Heels, 1010 XL 92.5 FM.
Jacksonville's home for Florida Gators baseball.
Two of the nation's top teams spend the weekend in the swamp. Find out if Florida can end Texas A&M's 6-game win streak. Friday night, Saturday at 5, and Sunday at 1 on 1010 AM.
Hey everybody, Mike Dempsey for big #1 Duval Ford. Look, if you're a busy mom or you're running kids all over town, you don't have time to sit in a service waiting room all day. That's why the Duval Ford mobile service is such a game changer. Duval Ford will come right to your home or work so you can keep doing what matters most. Duval Ford will handle the service without disrupting your day, so visit DuvalFord.com to schedule your next mobile service. Big #1 Duval Ford mobile service. Wherever you need them, they'll come to you.
Bowden Iron Associates.
Helmets and Heels Friday.
Frank Frangie here, and Big Chief Tire makes it easier than ever to get the tires you need with the Big Chief credit card. No annual fee, low monthly payments, and great promotional financing. Plus, you get free flat repairs and rotations, and right now, $50 off your first purchase when you sign up. I love how simple they make everything. Visit WeKeepJacksRollin.com to apply for the credit card and get the tires you need today. That's Big Chief Tire.
Hi, I'm Kelly, owner of DexaFit Jacksonville. Do you really know your numbers? Body fat, muscle, and bone density? At DexaFit Jacksonville, we use the DEXA scan, the gold standard for precise body composition data. We also measure VO2 max and resting metabolic rate, giving you a complete picture of how your body performs and burns fuel. No guessing, just clinical, science-backed data you can track over time just like an athlete. Book today at jacksonville.dexafit.com.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today from GFL, Green for Life.
Did you know that an annual coating inspection can extend the life of your building by years? Catching early signs like hairline cracks, fading, and moisture intrusion helps prevent costly repairs down the road and keeps your property looking its best. Our team at Performance Painting helps you stay ahead of maintenance with professional inspections and long-lasting coating solutions. Protect your building, protect your budget. Go to performance-painting.com to schedule a free inspection. Performance Painting, repair, protect, preserve.
Performance Painting.
All right, sports fans, Hicken here, and let's talk skin. Beaches Dermatology reminding you all to wear your sunscreen. Summer's almost here, gang, and that means more time outside. You're grabbing the clubs for your tea time. You're heading out to the boat. Just headed to the beach. Definitely bring the sunscreen. Hey, Mother's Day is coming up, so get your lady a gift card for some skin care. We know women love their skin. Beaches Dermatology, give them a call. I've been seeing them for years, and my skin thanks me for it. Call today online
at peachesdermatologies.com.
In this age of globalization, we've learned that bigger isn't always better. Ever tried to get phone help from a big corporation? From a real person? Good luck. That is what's so nice about Mike Merritt's Heating and Air. Unlike publicly traded conglomerates with headquarters in faraway cities, Mike Merritt's Heating and Air remains family-owned and operated by Mike, your neighbor. Mike Merritt has delivered hometown service, integrity, and pricing for generations. The big guys incentivize their techs to sell you new equipment. Mike's team emphasizes repair first. We only sell you equipment if your current equipment is worn out and beyond repair. And let's be honest about price. Small operations without much overhead can sometimes lowball your job, but you can't trust just anyone with a truck. They may be here today and gone tomorrow. Mike Merritt has been keeping North Florida cool for more than 3 decades. That's experience and dedication you can count on. Call today or see us on the web.
Florida license number CAC 050384.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Now, the Monahan's golden moment. Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach, your local family jewelers.
Golden moment continuing on some draft talk. We've chatted a lot about some of the bigger storylines coming out of night one, how those may also affect the Jaguars tonight. We all agree that we think the board fell pretty well to benefit the Jags. There's a lot of guys I think that are still on my list. I made a list of, some of them probably still a little realistic because you have to, unrealistic because you still have to wait pretty far into the second round. But I just was quickly going through and there's about 35 names that I put on this list that I'm like, okay, the guys that I think fit and that we've talked about and that you're familiar with. And you talk about guys that have fallen a little bit like a Jamard McCoy and a C.J. Allen, Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, Avion Terrell, Caden McDonald. And then you talk about that next group of guys like a T.J. Parker, he went Colton Hood, Emmanuel Pregnon, Christian Miller, Lee Hunter, Zion Young, all of those guys. And then you have some of the ones we mentioned earlier in the show when it comes to a Gabe Yakis, a A.J. Halsey, a Jennings Dunker, a Jake Golday, Traydon Stukes, Joshua Joseph. There's a lot of names still left on this board that I think that we've all agreed fit in some way and that we could see fitting in Jacksonville. But I saw one post that I wanted to go over a little bit, just talking about round one, continuing that conversation. So it was the biggest reaches and the most value picks between. So the biggest consensus when it comes to the biggest reach in the first round, according to Big Consensus, is Malachi Lawrence was the biggest reach, which I think that, most people were mocking him mid-second. And so where he ended up going, you'd say that. I think it could end up being a really good player, though. And then by the biggest steal by both metrics is Keldrick Falk, who continued to kind of fall, obviously, until late. He was expected to be probably around the 20 to 25 range is where he was going to go. But it was interesting to look at this because the 3 guys that felt like they were reached for, Malachi Lawrence was, when it comes to mock draft value, was the biggest reach they put on here. But a few guys around that is the Texans pick and Keelan Rutledge. That was a big surprise to me because he was in like the 70 range on a lot of the boards. And so you criticize him in the sense of being like, oh, it's a bit of a reach, but then also they've needed some offensive line help for a long time. And if that's the guy they feel like they liked and fits what they do offensively, then you go for it.
All it takes is one team to like you. And whatever the other teams feel, you hear it, but you don't pay attention to it. If that's the guy you think helps your O-line, helps Stroud, helps the running game, you make that pick.
Yeah.
He's got a good reputation. He's a mean and nasty player. He's quick enough in pass pro, and he can move people. So if that I don't always. I know the pundits do. You've reached. I don't. After a while, I don't care. Just, are you a good player? Are you helping my team win, regardless of where they drafted you?
Like Jeremiah Love getting taken 3rd overall was probably not a little earlier, one pick earlier than most people expected. But either way, a few years ago, we had discussed that running backs are no longer going to be taken maybe in the first round, but definitely not in the top 10, let alone the top 5. And so you're seeing a team, the Cardinals, but I think most teams in the NFL said, no, we want a player like this on our team. This style of running back is going to help us. Now, is he going to a great situation for him? Absolutely not.
No.
Yeah. Look at what happened to Ashton Genty, right? Now, the Raiders may be a lot better this year with quarterback help,
might help him
but
out.
we'll see what happens with the Cardinals and quarterback.
It is interesting because Kyron Love and Price now all play in the same division. All 3 Notre Dame quarterbacks in the same division now in the NFL. But it does. So it has the other two that they put reaches. Ty Simpson and Caleb Banks were two of their reaches in this draft. Chris Johnson, they also put in the Lions pick Blake Miller. They all had them as a little bit of a reach in there. Also the Steelers pick, which we've talked about that a little bit earlier. The best value picks that they have at this for where they ended up, where they ended up actually going compared to where they were drafted a lot. I mentioned Keldrick Falk was at the top, but Reuben Bain, Caleb Downs, Mekhi Lemon, Dylan Thieneman, and then Omar Cooper were the top when it comes to the guys of the value they got to where they were drafted. And then there's a big clump of guys that they all said fit exactly where they were projected. Jeremiah Love is in that group. Lomu's in that group. Maui Noah's in that group. Freeling, Concepcion, Fanu, a big group of guys that all say they feel like that value is right where they should have landed.
Yeah, I think the Jets coming back in for Omar Cooper is pretty big. Yeah, that was a good move, man. And it pairs him with Garrett Wilson. Obviously, you got Geno, but Geno can still throw it around deep, especially, So I thought that was a pretty ballsy move to get now 3 picks in the first round.
Yeah, I do wonder when we talk about the quarterbacks like Carson Beck, Garrett Nussmeier, Drew Aller, those types of guys, like at what point this evening, assuming that they come off the board this evening, are they going to be taken? Obviously, people are wondering maybe in the 3rd round with the 65th pick is what the Cardinals have. Is that a spot where they may select a quarterback? Or would it be even sooner than that, the Cardinals pick with the 2nd pick of the 2nd round?
Right.
Would they? I feel like they're going to wait a little bit and maybe go more 3rd round. But that's just because I feel like the way the teams have given us all of their data points on these quarterbacks is that they weren't in love with really any of them outside of Mendoza.
Yeah. Well, I mean, then with Ty off, going now, so that moves things up a little bit, I would imagine. I guess it depends how you see, Beck and Nussmeier. Do you see them the same? Are you willing to lose one of them, if they get drafted before you – like if you skip on the – I'm not saying draft Carson Beck with the 2nd pick or whoever, but if you do and someone in between you in the next round, comes in and takes them, are you okay with that as long as you get – like who? Who is it? Nussmeier? Is it the kid from Arkansas who we like, the raw talent? You know what I mean? The 6'6" kid.
Green.
Yeah, Green. Jalen. Yeah. So that it all depends there, because again, like you look at the tackles, they all kept going off, and you're like Blake Miller. Blake Miller. You thought 2nd round, but 7 went, and then you start thinking like, well, wait a minute, they're going. I gotta I gotta get one of these guys, and after a certain number, I don't think they're worth it. You know what I mean? And you got to think quarterback-wise, the next clump is those 2 guys, Beck and Nussmeier, right? So you just got to be willing to lose one of them if you wait, I guess is what I'm saying.
Who would you put in the teams, the Jets, Steelers, Cardinals, Raiders that you feel like need the quarterback?
Not Raiders.
Not the Raiders.
Cardinals. I think they would.
Cardinals, Jets, Steelers feel like the 3.
Yeah, unless the Cardinals are going to ride with Jacoby Brissett for multiple years and pay him more. That's what
Gardner's
strategy, Cotton.
Got Gardner.
Yeah, absolutely.
Gardner Minshew, maybe he can do something. Yeah, I don't. And then next year, I don't know but you don't hear great things about the QB class. Next year, who knows? I don't know. Arch Manning's in that one, isn't he?
There
should
people
be
are talking
Dante
high.
Moore too.
Yeah,
Plus, you never know.
Dante Moore I like a lot, but I've seen people say they hyped up this next class in general, but the QBs too. And then I've seen other people be like, I'm not quite sure why they are hyping up this QB class yet, unless like Orlovsky was like, unless CJ Carr enters it, and then all of a sudden maybe that opens some more conversations. But I do like Dante Moore. He could have obviously came into the draft this year. Chambliss is next year.
CJ Lagway next year.
Yeah.
So there's possibilities, but
if DJ has a phenomenal season at Baylor, the conversation will shift entirely about who's QB1. Look, I mean, once upon a time, we thought Carson Beck would be drafted number 1 overall or top 5 in the NFL draft.
Yeah, take Cade Klubnik. He was supposed to be like 2nd round or, not 1st round. But
right. I also wonder, the Saints and the Dolphins, they both have quarterbacks for now, obviously. With Saints, Tyler Shuck, who they drafted last year. The Dolphins ended up signing Malik Willis.
Yep.
But don't you also start planning for the future when it comes to these rounds, like maybe 3 and beyond, if you're those types of teams? Like the only teams I feel like that don't have to plan for the future are if you have your franchise quarterback locked in for years to come and you have a backup, I guess, that you're
confident
with.
in. Yeah.
But I mean, even the Jags, like we talked about, could potentially get a rookie quarterback at some point in time to bring into the room with Trevor, but not until much later in the draft.
I think with Hafley down in Miami, he, being the 1st-year head coach, he probably, you got time. Now you grab Malik Willis and you hope he is your franchise QB.
Yeah,
whether
you
we
paid
believe
him
that
to
or
be.
not.
You did.
Paid him to be, absolutely. So I could see Miami wanting to.
I'd get a quarterback in like the
later, yeah,
4th round and beyond if I'm Miami.
I mean, if Jacksonville's talking about it, then Miami should definitely be talking about it.
And if I tell you, I like the Green kid. I don't know where you take him. Like I wouldn't,
Taylon Green, because again, can he be more than just a quarterback?
Yeah,
he's an exceptional athlete. I mean, he's
very
very
explosive.
Randy Moss
he's
speed.
huge. Yeah,
and he's big like Randy Moss.
Correct. Right. And so, is there more that you can do with someone like that? So we shall see. All right, one segment to go. We'll bring you today's Pest of the Day on the other side. Don't go anywhere. It's Helmets and Heels 10 to Next on 92.5 FM.
Live streaming from the XL Digital Studios. Brightened by Harbor Dental Care, Jacksonville's first choice for dental emergencies.
Frank Franzi here for South State Bank. At South State, they believe strong relationships build strong businesses. That's why they take the time to understand your goals, challenges, and vision, so they can provide solutions tailored to your needs, like they've done for me for years. South State has always been there for our business and our charity. With a team you can trust and a commitment to personalized service, South State Bank is here to be more than your bank. They're your partner in business. Visit southstatebank.com. South State Bank, member FDIC.
It's a Helmets and Heels Friday, checked by Bowden Iron Associates.
Rotator cuff injuries are common among athletes and those who have physically demanding careers. Don't let this injury keep you away from the sport you love. Dr. George Barry here, and the first thing you need to do with a serious shoulder injury is to diagnose where the damage is and how significant it is. Rotator cuff tears are either acute tears sustained during an injury or accident, or degenerative tears. If you're interested in learning more about rotator cuff repair and how our expert team of orthopedic surgeons can help you, call Barry Orthopedics today or visit barryorthopedics.com.
Hey guys, Coach Campo here. We just left Tony D's Pizza, Bay Meadows and 295. My wife is still raving about the eggplant parmesan. At Tony D's, it's more than just pizza. I'll see you there.
Youth sports at the YMCA's focus on teamwork, discipline, and building confidence. Our experienced coaches can create a positive and supportive environment where your kids can grow, stay active, and develop a love for sports. Sports like basketball, volleyball, swimming, gymnastics, and even elite skills training. Join the fun and register. Give your kids a chance to be a part of something special. Visit fcymca.org to learn all about youth sports at the Y.
Southwest Greens is the OG of artificial turf in North Florida. Stop mowing and start chipping or putting or just relaxing with a beautiful backyard, maintenance free. Log on to southwestgreensofjacksonville.com to see what they can do to your backyard.
Checkmate. I'm Brendan Cecilia, founder of Checkmate Coatings.
And I'm Chester, the Checkmate Chessman.
At most companies, people start on the ground floor and work their way up to the corner office. At Checkmate, I started on the ground floor, and almost 20 years in, that's still where I am, making ground floors look awesome, one garage at a time.
Well, I started as a pawn and worked my way up to king.
No, you didn't. Some guy drew you as a king. I asked them to give you a roller, so at least you look like one of the guys.
Yes, I rather would have preferred a sword.
At Checkmate, I work personally with our teams to perfect the preparation and application techniques that make Checkmate floors beautiful and durable.
And I keep things classy with my adorable accent.
Beautiful floors?
Check. Guaranteed to last?
Check. The finishing touch your home deserves? Checkmate.
Transforming your floors, making them great. Checkmate.
Visit checkmatecoatings.com.
Spring cleaning isn't just for your house, it's for your life. If your job is getting old, it's time to clear the clutter and spring into IT. Go to My Computer Career.
My Computer Career helped me get the skills and certifications I needed to start a new life as an IT professional in months, not years.
Earn the certifications the top employers are looking for right now. Visit mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation to see if it's time to spring into IT. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Let me tell you something smart homeowners are doing. They're getting ahead of problems before summer shows up. Now, right now at DuckDuckRooter, there are 3 really good reasons to call. You can get your AC checked out and ready for summer for just $99. Got a big plumbing repair coming up, like a whole house repipe? You can save $500. And if it's time to pump your septic tank, the Duck Duck crew will run a sewer camera inspection for only $99, in addition to the price of the pump out. 3 great deals, 1 trusted team. Call 904-862-6769 or duckduckrooter.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
Taylor Dahl, Tom McManus, Aaron Williams. I'm Lauren Brooks with you on this second round of the draft and third round of the draft Friday afternoon. So we talked obviously a lot about round one and what the Jaguars could do in round two. Let's chat a little bit about the Steelers just making a really interesting choice when they decided that they were going to call Mekhi Lemon and assume that they were just going to be able to draft him. But Philadelphia had other plans. Here's Mekhi.
Here's what it looked like from the player's point of view before we discuss.
Come on, man. Let's go. Let's go. Hey, why Philly color? Oh, Philly just traded for you. Hello? This is Philly. They just traded for you. Philly's taking you right now.
So you're in Pittsburgh for the NFL draft.
Yep.
You answer the phone. You think the Steelers are going to draft you, which is exciting stuff, obviously. Mekhi Lemon thought he was going to be taken with pick 21 of the first round. That's awesome. But the Steelers were idiots because then they allowed the Eagles to swoop in, their in-state rivals. And the only way that it could have been better to me is if it was the Titans that had this poor
just stolen
choice.
away from.
Exactly, or the Texans or the Colts.
Yeah.
The video is funny. If you haven't watched the video, go back because he's clearly emotional. He just got a phone call that he's getting drafted. So he's on the phone, already emotional from that. And then he's like, hold on, why is Philly calling? And his agent runs up and his agent's like, they traded up. You're getting drafted now. Go. And he's like, what? What's happening? So it's just such a
lot going on in a
that
very
would
short
be
period of
a
time.
very frantic moment, but very cool. I'm sure, honestly, probably a little happier to go to Philly. Because,
I mean, look, that's a lesson for teams. Like, man, you can't just sit back and wait. And they're probably thinking, like, there's no way they're going to trade with an inner division.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, Dallas is sitting there. They're
But
not.
you know the Eagles need a quarterback.
I know.
I mean, quarterback, a wide receiver. They might need a quarterback at some
people
point,
might
too,
think
but,
so.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So that's where you're like, you got to make that jump up one. Everyone's like, why'd you go up one? Because someone's going to leapfrog me. And by the way, that can happen in the second and the third. It can happen in almost any round.
Absolutely.
Now, obviously, it diminishes down to the seventh round.
The
but
time
I mean,
itself diminishes, as we saw.
absolutely.
But yeah. So yeah, I'll make the Steelers the pest of the day, as always brought to you by our good friends at Terminix. You can find them online, Terminix.com. It's TERMINIX.com. Titus came out to our house today, did a fabulous job, and they always do a great job at ViStar Ballpark, ViStar Veterans Memorial Arena, all of your favorite event venues around town. So we are just about 3 hours away, y'all.
Yep.
It feels like it's taken 3 months to get here. Oh, wait, because it has.
I'm waiting for the picks.
Like, can we get players to talk about, please?
Yeah, exactly.
We've had one new player, two
Wanna
now,
see
I
the
guess.
team.
A row, adding to number
Rook,
two.
a row.
Yeah.
But when we come back on Monday at the Guggen Open, right?
That's right, at
That's
Southampton.
right. See,
Well
I
done.
remembered.
Did you?
I did. Well,
We'll
you
send a
reminded me.
reminder on Monday morning.
Please do. Please do. But yeah, we'll have our team, or at least a good bit of it together, and we'll see what they do after that. But it'll be good to see who they go after. Not just 56, all the way through. Let's see.
Tonight's going to be fun because once things get rolling, whether they move or they stay at 56 or move a little bit farther back, then you've got the 81, 88, and then a little gap, and then 100.
I know this. I saw the crowd. There's no way I'm getting stuck in that crowd.
300,000 people
No
in that?
way.
That's wild.
Where do you go to the bath?
You don't.
Right.
You just,
I'd be like, I'm
it's
out.
only a couple
See ya.
hours, I guess, so you can make it. But
Can you?
Yeah. I mean, I
can't
can.
be drinking a ton of beer then.
Well, yeah.
I believe that they do have a lot of portalettes that are just off camera and things like that, but
Sure.
So
either
you're in
way-
the middle of that crowd. You're not. At least you're not finding your friends after you go.
I was wondering, like, some of these people have beer in their hands. Like, where did they get that? Like, did you stand in line for 2 hours in order to get a beer?
Well,
Like,
note to Jacksonville for future draft hosting.
Yeah.
Have plenty of porta potties and plenty of beer. There we
I'm
go.
sure we will. All
There you
right, let's turn things over to the Frangie Show.
Now, the 2-minute drill is driven by nobody but Nimnik. Nimnik Chevrolet on Cassett Avenue and Nimnik Buick GMC on Phillips Highway.
Hayes Carline joins us now. Hayes, you were there last night. How did James Gladstone seem?
Yeah, I think he seemed very relaxed and confident about where the Jaguars sit going into today. So I think patience was a virtue for the Jaguars last night. I think the board sets up pretty well for them today. So excited to see what they do. They could certainly move up from 56, but I think they've established themselves in a pretty good position of strength going into today.
Absolutely. If you got your pick at position group, what would it be at 56?
I mean, you'd love for a defensive tackle with some interior ability to be there, but I'd be surprised. So I think the board disintegrates the defensive tackle, and so I think they're either going to have to sit that one out or wait till later. So I expect a defensive end or an off-ball linebacker. I think the Illinois kid, Gabe Akis, is who I think gets picked at 56 if that's where they stay. Talented edge player, and I think they go that direction, take advantage of the talent and depth at the edge, and probably have to pivot off a defensive tackle. But again, they're well armed; they can move up. But I think they're going to have to move up if they want to get one of the top defensive tackles remaining on the board. So it's going to be really exciting.
For sure, y'all are going to be live at Mr. Chubby's in Ponte Vedra.
Live at Mr. Chubby's, come see us, and obviously we'll have the Frangie show, but then Frank and Logs will have the Jaguars draft party, and they're already getting it set up. The parking lot is already a party of Jaguar activity. So yeah, if you're in the neighborhood, please come see us. It should be a really fun night here.
People are tailgating for the second and third rounds of the draft.
That's right.
I love it.
I pulled up and I was like, they had like half the parking lot blocked off, and I was like, here we go. We've got like a little pro shop out here. We've got all sorts of cool stuff for Jaguar fans. So yeah, please come out and see us, and it should be a fun night.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Hayes, and enjoy the draft.
All right, thank you.
I'm sure we'll find out about how both Frank and Hayes feel about Ty Simpson being drafted at 13 overall to the Rams.
Oh, yeah.
That's on everyone's mind.
I saw something, too, that the Cardinals, I guess, were given the wrong phone number for Jeremiah Love. Did you see that?
Yeah.
So do you remember? I forgot that last year someone prank called Shador.
Yes.
And so I guess this year they were like very strict, and only 32 people, like one person in each organization was given numbers because they didn't want numbers getting out so that doesn't happen again.
Right.
So they gave the wrong number. Could you imagine if that had affected a pick?
Right.
That's why it's a good thing they have 8 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
Of our group, I'm giving the phone
straight
number.
to voicemail. You're like, wait.
I'm giving the phone number to Taylor, not to Tom.
Yeah, I would either. I know my weaknesses. Trust me. I know.
All right, that'll do it for us today. For Taylor Dahl, for Tom McManus, for Aaron Williams filling in for RJ Saunders, I'm Lauren Brooks. These heels are made for talking. We will talk to you on Monday post-draft, but don't go anywhere. The party is just getting started at Mr. Chubby's in Ponte Vedra with the Frangie Show coming up.